They brought us to this country as a labor force. We built a foundation and they hate us for it. They hate us for it. We built a foundation and they ain't pay us for it. They ain't pay us for it, but they gon' pay for it. Already prayed, unbelievers didn't pray for us. We're black and we built a foundation. Stone by stone, generation to generation. Vultures said we had no culture. Them vultures got a Jay-Z poster. Them vultures got a lacy culture. Vultures eat what they didn't kill. Vultures sleep what they didn't build. They brought us to this country as a labor force. We built a foundation and they hate us for it. We built a foundation and they ain't pay us for it. They ain't pay for it, but they gon' pay for it. The foundation, stone by stone, generation to generation. Vultures said we had no culture. And vultures got a Jay-Z poster. Them vultures got a lacy poster.
I'm Jamaican.
You ain't black.
Then what am I?
Jamaican.
I'm black.
You Jamaican.
No.
You Jamaican.
There's a difference, huh?
It's a difference.
Okay, describe the difference.
If I go to your...
What color is my skin? What color is my skin?
Yellow.
Okay, and it derives from?
Even white derived from black. Even white derived from black. All colors in the color spectrum come from the black. But y'all have been classified as Jamaicans.
When I fill out a paperwork here in the States, it doesn't say Jamaican anywhere.
How can you describe me as being black? You have a name. You're Jamaican.
And you're American.
Well, I'm black American.
Okay, I'm black Jamaican.
It don't say that. You're making some up now. It don't say that. Our paperwork, we have to check something. When you go back home, you don't check nothing. You're automatic Jamaican.
Right.
I'm not automatic American. I'm automatic black. You see what I'm saying? So when we say black, we talking us.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all ain't us. Don't y'all got Jamaican food?
Yes.
Don't y'all have a Jamaican culture?
Yes.
We don't. So we those seeds. We are not African seeds. We don't have no African bloodline other than what the white boy have.
But you could call me the can man, because anybody can get it. Africans, Americans, Dominicans, Mexicans, anybody can get it.
I became the can man. Everybody can get it. Dominican, African, Haitian, Jamaican, all you can get it. I'm the damn can man. You
B1 family. I'm trying to sneak in a TikTok space before I do my own space. All right. They kind of on what I'm on. Oh, I forgot to play the damn, man. 1 second, family. I can't do it now. So Charleston White went viral for, I don't know how old it is, but he was talking about white tea people created us, right? And he was going into like the whole ethnogenesis thing, the whole process. He didn't know the right words. We were not created by white people. We went through a natural ethnogenesis along with white people. But that seems to be trending a little bit. So hold on. I gotta learn this stuff they're doing. All right. So I want no. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna do my own space. Anyway, DSA, peace to you. Chris Styles, peace. Thanks for the super chat. $10. Lineage love. Big Chief toilet paper. Maneuver right. Young Biaz in the building. Thank you, Young Biaz. Young Riaz. Young Riaz. My fault. The computer's over there. I'm reading from afar. Young Riaz, thanks for the support. All right, so let me go ahead and I don't see any TikTok spaces that I want to join right now. So let me do my own one. All right, hold on, family. Let me do my own space. The Can Man, is that what it's called?
But you could call me the Can Man, because anybody can get it. Africans, Americans, Dominicans, Mexicans, anybody can get it.
You dig? That's where we at. Anybody can get it. And what we mean by get it, we mean get this truth. Get this truth. We're not going to withhold the truth. Wait, what was I going to call the TikTok space? Oh, FBA News. Damn, come on. So I had a couple I was on Facebook and some of the Facebook groups trying to spark conversation. So I see a lot of black talk over there, but they're confused on who's black and who's not. So the first chance I get, I'm like, yo, the only black people are black Americans. So I want to read off the guy response. Right. And they usually stop corresponding once they see where I'm going. So when I read off some things, you're gonna see. Which leads me to believe that some of these folks know. Some of these folks know they're not black. Okay, hold on. So the whole thing was based on the Charleston White viral. That's the video that's going viral where he said black Americans were created by white people. Again, like he misworded that. He really was trying to say our ethnogenesis started here with white people. Right. So anyway, so Buddy said
I adopted you.
oh, I hate when it does that, man. All right, give me a second. Let me get this out of my way. So I told Buddy, I said, hey man, because they were saying, hey, that's not something about black people all over the world. And I was letting them know, hey man, we're not African and there's no black people across the world, right? And they're just black people in America. That's it. Black people started in America. So let me just I can't play it on TikTok because he's cursing. And I was supposed to edit this before I went live on TikTok where I took out the curses, but it's too late. All right. I wish I could send that to Chat GPT and have them take out the curses. But what did he say? I said we're not African. He said something crazy like, hey, black people and Africans. I said, bro, black does not equate to African. I said, if you want to do math, Africans equate to Africans, Haitians equate to Haitians. Haitians don't equate to Ethiopians. Somalians don't equate to South Africans. So black doesn't equate to African. Black is its own thing, just like Somalians are their own thing, just like Haitians are their own thing. Like we're not the same. We're different ethnic groups. We're black in America, and people are Sudan or Sudanese in Sudan. People are Congolese in Congo. People are Haitian in Haiti. People are Jamaican in Jamaica, and we are black in America. See how that works? So I don't know how that's just so confusing. Like, you're not African in America. You're African in Africa. You're Zimbabwean in Zimbabwe. Right. So I hate when I love TikTok shop. HATE, the way it's doing this, the way it got it. Got to keep looking for more comments. All right. Where was our conversation? Because I was hoping Buddy was going back and forth. I was hoping he would have agreed to, pull up over here. Let's have the conversation in real life. All right. So I can't see where Buddy's at. I can't see where Buddy's at. If he responds, I got him. I got him if he responds. If he responds, I got him. So yesterday, people been suggesting good conversations. Yesterday, a brother introduced the whole gerrymandering, redistricting, redrawing the lines, right, of the maps. He was going on that, and I was like, you know what? I'll do a show on that. And before then, somebody was like, hey, wouldn't reparations stimulate the economy? I'm like, yeah, I would think so. And then I was like, let me get some research just to verify and talk about it. So here's the thing, though. So it looks like the Congressional Black Caucus want to pressure students, right? You could say of color, because he's not only talking to Black Americans. Remember, Black is a racial category administratively, right? Administratively, Black is a racial category that involves many people of African ancestry, but ethnicity wise, right? Ethnically wise, Black only applies to Black Americans, right? So racially, white people administratively made our ethnicity a race and included everybody across the world. So when you hear Black in America or around the world, when you hear the word Black, do not think of Black Americans alone. You got to rewire your brain. You got to think of people across the world who are cosplaying as a Black American, right? So that's why we got to use terms like ADOS, Freedmen, Solon, FBA, right? To specifically talk to ourselves. That's crazy because we have no specific term. Well, they don't want us to have one. If we say Black, that's everybody. If you say African American, that's any African coming to this country or any Caribbean coming to this country getting citizenship. They are also African American. Elon Musk will be African American. So our so-called brothers and sisters don't want us to have a suspicious, I can't even say it, that SP. They don't want us to have a specific name. They want us to, it's funny, we did a whole show on the SP. We like, yo, the SP come together, spaghetti, all that type of stuff. It's tongue twisters. And specific is not normally a tongue twister. It's usually specificity, but whatever. Right, but our so-called brothers and sisters don't want us to have a specific name. They want us to be flat Black and generic Africans, while they maintain specific exclusive names. Not having it. We're the only Black people on Earth. Anybody else say they're Black, they're cosplaying, they're lying. Don't believe them. They need more people. They need citations. They need footnotes. They are just who they say they were before we popularized and made Black our name. You were Haitians before we chose Black. You were Jamaicans before we chose Black. You were Africans of 54 nations before we chose Black. So you guys already had names. What was our name? We didn't have one. We were Negroes and colors, right? We were named after our colonizers, generic terms they called everybody across the world. Right. So we chose a specific name that we felt described our ethnogenesis in America, and we called it Black. We got respect from that name. We went viral at that time with our movements, our civil rights movements, our boycotts, our black boycotts, our black boycotts, our Black Panthers, the Black Dollars, our song, I'm black and I'm proud, our chant, our warrior chant, Black Power, you dig? Saying black is beautiful for the first time, Dr. King. So we put our energy, we put our spirit, we put our FBA glow behind the word black. And that word, we were just talking about ourselves. Okay. When we said the Black Civil Rights Movement, we were talking about ourselves. When we say free blacks, we're talking about ourselves. When we call it Black Reconstruction, we're talking about ourselves. When we say Black Wall Street, we're talking about our business districts in America as Black Americans. We're not including anybody. And when we talk about Black history, we're talking about ourselves. We're not talking about Caribbean history or African history. When we say black, when Black Americans say black, we are typically, especially self-acknowledging, self-aware blacks. When we say black, we're specifically talking about ourselves. Okay, but outside of ourselves, when you hear the word black, don't fall for it. They're not using it the way we use it. When Caribbean Africans use black, Haitians use black, they're using it as a racial, all-inclusive term, not as a special or specific identifier. They're using it as an all-inclusive word that joins billions of people globally. When Black Americans say black, we're talking about 40 to 50 million. That's it. Right? And nobody who needs a visa. Nobody who ever immigrated over here or had to sneak to the country, came here as asylee, evacuee, refugee. If you came on an H-1B visa, student visa, work, all that stuff. Yeah, you're not black. You are exactly the person from the country you came from. Whatever that country is, you're that name of that country. That's who you are. All right? You're not black. You're Jamaican, Haitian, Puerto Rican, Cuban, African, whatever you were before. Whatever your flag is. What's the name of your flag? It's called a Puerto Rican flag, right? You're Puerto Rican. It's called a Haitian flag, right? You're Haitian. It's called the Jamaican flag, right? You're Jamaican. Is it called the Nigerian flag or the black flag? You're Nigerian. Is it called the Zimbabwean flag, the Ghanaian flag? Okay, that's who you are, man. Your flag is who you are. We got a black flag. We got two black flags. We got, really three. Now we got Foundation Black American Heritage flag. We got the Black American Heritage flag by Melvin Charles, 1967. We got the FBA flag, Tariq Nasheed, and we got the flag, the Juneteenth flag. Okay, so we got a bunch of black flags, and that's who we are. We are our flag, and you are your flag, and your flag's not black. You're not black. Our flag is black. It represents black people. All right. Apart from that, so thank you for the gifts. I'm new to this. I'm trying to look at the phone as I go in. Okay. Thank you very much. So reparations. If Black Americans get reparations, will the economy collapse? Will the American economy collapse, or would reparations stimulate the economy? Okay. So I'll say this: the single most immediate and impactful use of a cash infusion, cut the check, right? It's my money and I want it now. For a significant portion, right, to the Black community, it will pay down debt, right? We talk about the America's debt and all these things. Well, some of that debt is ours. If we get a massive payouts, plural, what are we gonna do? We're gonna pay our debt. You dig? So this is gonna let loose some of the burden, the debt burden, right, that we suffer from predatory lending, student loans, and medical bills, to say the least. You get it? So with that being said, now we're debt free. Now what we're gonna do now? We're debt free. That means the collections got their money. We're debt free. They're happy. Okay, now we're going to get a bank account so that the banks are happy. We're going to offload some zeros, hella zeros. You feel me? The banks are happy. Okay. What are we gonna do next? Next, we're probably gonna fix our home if we already have a home. We're gonna add to it so the real estate market is happy, or we're gonna buy a home if we're renters, right? So the real estate market goes up. They're happy. All right. Automobiles. We're gonna buy that Cadillac you guys keep saying we're gonna buy. Okay, some of us gonna buy it, some of us gonna buy something else, but the automobile industry is gonna level up. And then we gonna go shopping, right? We gonna buy some things, electronics, Apple phones, shoes, clothes, like anybody else. So the retail market and the services, we're gonna get internet, high speed, FiOS, you dig, internet. So the communication company's gonna be happy. So America, like we're gonna be pot. We're gonna have this country lit. All right. Um, so yes, our reparations payout would fuel investment in the future economic productivity of the community, which is a domestic investment. We're not sending billions of dollars overseas like these other folks do. You dig? We ain't gonna do that. Guess what we're gonna do? We're gonna invest in education with our reparations money. So the company, so now those institutions are gonna benefit. So college, trade schools, they're gonna benefit from that. We're gonna go into entrepreneurship, right? So we're gonna have businesses. We're gonna buy things for our business, right? Materials and products. You dig? So they're gonna be happy. Retail stores are gonna be happy. We're gonna get internet. We're gonna get our lights turned on. So the electric company, we're gonna most likely rent somewhere. We ain't obviously gonna just buy buildings randomly. You might rent somewhere. So that person's getting rent. So reparations definitely gonna be employing and getting this economy going crazy. Then on businesses, don't you pay taxes? Right. So we're going to be paying taxes. That means taxes. The country going to benefit, and the people, the citizens who needs help, right, is going to get taxes. Right. We're not illegal, and we're not remitting our money elsewhere. It stays here, and the everybody in the country, legal and illegal, will all benefit from our tax dollars and our and what we got going on. Okay, so we're paying taxes and we're going to employ people. So people are going to be employed. They're not going to be unemployed. We're not going to have racial profiling, job discrimination. We're going to hire you if you're qualified. You dig? So all of that is a positive, right? It's a good case for reparations. We're not going to be a burden on the country. Then you have the economic multiplier effect, right? So every dollar spent in a local economy has a multiplier effect, right? So think about it like this. When a black-owned restaurant buys produce from a local supplier, that supplier then has more money to hire workers or buy equipment. They're going to level up. They're going to upscale, right? So same thing when you buy a car. The salesman earns a commission. The mechanic gets work to fix the car after we buy it to maintain it. Midas, right? Midas fixing your muffler, whatever they're doing. They're going to be happy. And the state collects sales tax of all that. So by ejecting capital, reparation, huge payouts, plural, into a community with a high propensity to spend. Don't they call us the consumer people? Right. So we got a high propensity to spend. We're not going to hoard it. We're not going to save it. We're going to spend it. That's a good thing. Like they try to gaslight us. Like, hey, you're just going to blow it. If we did blow it, whose pocket's going in? Fool's going in yours. But we ain't going to blow it. So anyway, when we spend the money locally on necessities, right? Necessities, not just willy-nilly spending, that creates wealth building activity. The economic ripple effect will be significant and overwhelmingly domestic. So all Americans will benefit, legal and illegal. You got it? So that's the case for reparations. This is why Americans should be pro reparations. It's funny as crap that white people and people who want to be white people are against reparations without what I'm telling you today, without considering how it will stimulate the U.S. economy, right? That got to be considered. We're going to use our funds to you know, housing industry, real estate, realtor, automobile. We buying cars. We're paying taxes, hella taxes. We're hiring people to work our businesses. You dig? Landscaping. All those illegals gonna make hella money. We're gonna hire you for the low to cut our grass, to fix our roof. We won't call ice on you. I promise. I love TikTok shop, but you feel me? So because our buying power, as most of you know, is estimated around $1.8 trillion. That's yearly, and it's projected to grow, right? So just that alone, that spending flows into U.S. sectors like housing, food, transportation, apparel, right? We like to get dressed in our beauty, makeup, haircuts, whatever, automobile, right? We're gonna buy cars, gas, and all type of stuff, and entertainment. We like to be entertained like kings and queens. You dig? So that is because we're high. Well, that's a high consumption multiplier, right? So additional income from reparations will likely boost immediate spending on goods and services produced or retail in this country, right? And little examples show how when you give the public money, it boosts the economy, right? So the stimulus checks was a case in point that showed a strong short-term GDP, right? How it affects through increased demand. So now that was just a couple $100, or $1,000, but the stimulus checks alone was a proof of concept that when you give the Americans some money, it definitely stimulates the economy. A lot of us, when we have the money, when we're not being redlined, we like to allocate a large share of our wealth to home ownership, right? So extra fund reparations will likely support down payments, home improvements, homes we're adding to the home, nice deck, big porch, maybe go down south, get some land, build on top of that. You dig? A compound, something crazy. Right. So increased wealth correlates with higher small business formation. We will have Black owned businesses like Black Wall Street, and we're going to employ Americans, okay? And we're going to pay US taxes. So we're cutting into the unemployment gap, those rates, and we're paying taxes. All again, we're paying taxes. You dig? So historical examples and international analogs, like for example, Colombian got reparations, right? And their payouts led to more entrepreneurship, real estate purchases plus 40%, and they shifted to better jobs. So there are examples of massive payouts leading to economies going crazy. All right. Also, as I keep pointing out, we have a low remittance rate. So the money stays domestic. You heard that? So there'd be no offshore bank accounts. There's no sending the money to Ghana and over here living like Prince Zamunda in Ghana. That's not gonna be the goal. That is not going to be the goal. So now you'll have some critics, right? You got some critics who will say, well, man, y'all not financial literate. You dig? You guys gonna be exposed to predators all over again. You know, predatory lending. They're gonna take advantage of you and extract the money from you. So you're gonna be a burden. Even with that, it still stimulates, even we're getting scammed little by little. The payout still stimulates the country. There's no way out of that. Okay. So there are many historical parallels that proves this point. Remember the 1862 Homestead Act? Over 27 million acres of land given to the worst white trash individual in the country. 160 acres each. That stimulated the country. Okay. That got land wealth, and that's the rocking. It didn't stop there. Remember the 1933 HOLC? Remember 1934 FHA? Remember the 1944 GI Bill? Well, all those had showed those were gifts. That was nothing that was owed to them. They didn't earn it. They were gifted that stuff, and it showed that broad-based payments to citizens boost domestic demand without mass capital flight. The suburbs were built through all those handouts. All right, so our money would overwhelmingly be spent, saved, or invested here, driving demand, entrepreneurship, healthy, health. We're getting our health together, productivity gains, and GDP growth, while addressing a documented drag on national output. This would be the best thing for America. This would be the best thing for America. And then America get to finally rebrand itself because they look muddy out there right now. America ain't got a good look. Their image globally ain't good. So something like this, they can do a Jenny Jones makeover. Don't forget, 100% domestic retention. Nearly all it stays here. So it's an investment into the country, right? So you have something called the high marginal propensity to consume, right? Marginal propensity to consume, MPC. So in economics, the marginal propensity to consume measures how much of a new dollar of income a person immediately spends versus saves. So this is spending versus saving. So if you think about generations of systemic racism, redlining, and wage discrimination, that has kept folks disproportionately asset poor, and the MPC, the marginal propensity to consume of that population, is extraordinarily high. Right? So when you hold people back and deny them things, they usually spend more when they get it than save. So when liquidity is given to wealth-starved populations, they do not hoard it in offshore tax havens. They don't hoard it in their bank account. They spend it almost immediately on foundational needs, housing upgrades, vehicle purchases, health care, maybe some college tuition, and consumer goods. This fast spending dramatically increases the velocity of money, right? The rate at which a dollar changes hands within the domestic economy, generating massive tax revenues for state and local governments. Okay. Then also a massive payout triggers what is called a local multiplier effect. Studies on large scale cash transfers show that every $1 given to a domestic population creates between $1.30 and sometimes more than double, $2.40 in local economic activity. So just imagine a massive payout happens. What you gonna do with it? Start businesses. So you might hire a local contractor to fix your roof. You might buy a commercial building to start a business, or pay for, get some veneers, get some pearly whites, get some veneers. Right. But look what happens. The contractor, the commercial real estate agent, and the dentist then use the money to pay their own employees, buy supplies, and patronize other American businesses. So you're creating a circulation effect where the money just going around and around and around. Everybody loving it. So the money isn't just ours. It's going to be the Americans' money at some point, because at least the money we spend the money we invest. You dig? So there's no doubt that the money would largely circulate domestically, right? Money spent does not disappear. It goes somewhere. The money that was stolen from the Freedmen Bank, it didn't disappear. It went in somebody's pocket. So no, money don't disappear. It goes in somebody's pocket. So if we buy homes, somebody's pocket. Okay. If we buy vehicles, spend it on education, we'll level up, trade schools, somebody's pocket. So we are literally paying workers, people who work, we're keeping them afloat. So you would think that people who own businesses, especially mass businesses like Walmart, Amazon, you dig, Apple, they the main ones. Like, get them that money because they're like, yo, you dig, I'm gonna cape for that money. I'm gonna design products for the Black American public, the population. That's what's gonna happen. Everybody's gonna try to cater to us like, hey man, Black Americans, we got soul food. You gonna buy our soul food? They're gonna have all of our icons in their stores trying to get us in there. Guess what? They're gonna support Black History Month for like 6 months, Black History half a year, trying to win our money, trying to get our money in their business. You feel me? So the money will just keep moving. As opposed to us, foreigners, money don't keep moving. Their money keeps going out the country. Right? Billions leave America annually through remittance flows. All right? You got to know that. So the wealth gap that was created by white supremacy, systematic racism, and systemic racism. What did that do? What did that do? Because people gaslight us. They come here and be like, yo, why are you Black American bottom? Why y'all ain't taking advantage of opportunities? All this gaslight troll behavior. They want to ignore the fact that there's a wealth gap that was created unorganically through exclusion, through terrorism and violence. And deceit. You feel me? And that wealth gap right, community stability. Okay. And that is going to lower what you got. That's going to lower welfare dependency, emergency health costs, right? Police calls. My fault, family. My fault. Okay. So yeah, well, reparations would not be unprecedented. This country already spends gazillions of dollars on bank bailouts, right? Remember the COVID stimulus? What about what's going on in Iran? What about subsidies, right? Farm subsidies. What about foreign aid, infrastructure packages? So they spend gazillions. They spend our reparation payout all the time, just abroad. Okay. So the question would be, why is investment acceptable for corporations and foreign governments, but impossible for FBAs, right? So there are reasons why communities struggle, and that is through the lack of inherited capital. So, so we had money stripped from us, business districts burned down, urban renewal, eminent domain. You had Sarah Rector, right? She was she got a land allotment because she was enslaved by indigenous people, indigenous Americans. So when they free you, they were supposed to give you some type of land allotment, and they gave her the worst part of the land. They thought, okay, but her part of the land that they gave her had oil, so she became a gazillionaire right from the back. But what they do, they made sure that that wealth was not passed down. They sabotaged. This shit like 13 years old, grown grown white T R. Kelly's is trying to marry her to get ownership of her oil. 13 years old. These are some weird people here, man. Black American woman who was enslaved by indigenous Americans had got free and they owed her a land allotment. They gave her they thought was the worst part of land, and it was the best part. It had oil on it. This was found out. Grown white T men was trying to marry this 13-year-old woman. Facts. Facts. Trying to marry a 13-year-old girl to seize her land. So bottom line is that they make sure that our capital don't get passed down. And this is what happens when you guys or gals date interracially. Kobe Bryant, you pass away, Jimmy Fox, that money's going to the wife who's non-FBA. And guess what? It will not be considered inherited capital for you in your line. It's going to be inherited capital for her line. So that's what keeps happening. So when you don't have inherited capital, you're going to have a struggling society. Now, don't forget, white people, they got land grants, subsidized housing, GI Bill access. They got inherited capital. Homestead Act benefits, business loans, protected labor access. That's called inherited capital. We were excluded from that while they got it. And then they gaslight us and say, hey, man, you guys are lazy. Like, yo, you got inherited capital that wasn't even owed to you. This is why you have the suburb. And no, reparations don't got to be a one cash payout. Nope. Nope. Same energy you did for them, you do for us. We're talking about the housing grants, low interest business capital, educational trusts, right? Land acquisition assistance, cooperative banking infrastructure, and investment tax incentives. You dig? That's going to guarantee domestic economic circulation. Jimmy Fox can't help himself. Right. Dude is sick, man. So anyway, our payout, when folks want to act like it won't be a good thing, you ask them why. And they're going to have the most silly reasons, right? But you make sure you tell them our money won't disappear overseas like everybody else's, right? The money will recycle through American neighborhoods, American banks, American businesses, and American tax systems. And that means every American or a lot of Americans, whether you're race, ethnicity, or whatever, you are going to touch our money. It's going to help you out one way or another. You dig? So now that brings us right into redistricting, right? Lay down, here, put this on. Here, go, lay down. Redistricting, right? So this is what's going on now. It's going viral. Oh, they redrawing the maps, losing your vote. And look, they want to act like it's the black vote. You got to stop. First of all, the black vote means everybody. It don't mean black Americans. It means everybody who can select black. But there's also other people in those states that are voting blue. So and they're being affected. So, and they're going to keep being affected as long as there are no tangibles. No tangibles, no wins. No tangibles, more drawing. You dig? More redrawing, more redistricting. Anyway, every 10 years after the census, states redraw, right? So no matter who wins, blue or red, they redraw the boundaries of congressional and legislative districts to account for population changes because people move in all the time. It was 30,000, now it's 80,000. It was 80,000, now it's 160. Now it's back to 50,000. People come and go. So they redraw the lines for those reasons. So if a state has 10 districts, population shifts between the lines must be adjusted, right? So whoever controls the state legislator, that's why it matters who wins, who gets voted. And if you're not handing those tangibles, then I guess this ain't gonna be you. So whoever wins the state legislator often has significant influence over how those lines are redrawn. They all notice in advance you're being gaslit. People trying to act like this is something new that's going on. They all redraw the lines of the map to favor their constituents and their power of dominating that area of that state. Right? So just imagine if a state had 10 congressional seats, right? Let's say Republicans get 55% of the vote and Democrats got 45% of the votes. So if that's the case, where there's no redrawing, no relining, no redistricting, Republicans 55%, Democrats 45%, obviously 55% is higher than 45%. So naturally, Republicans will win 6 seats to 4, right? So if there's, again, one more time, so y'all can follow me. If there's 10 congressional seats and Republicans got 55% of those 10 seats, and Democrats got 45% of those 10 seats, then naturally Republicans will win 6 to 4. It's only 10 seats. 55%, 45%, 6 to 4. All right. So that 6 to 4 will match the outcome of the percentage of the votes, right? So let's go with that again. So now we're gonna talk about gerrymandering, right? Or gerrymandering and map. So let's say those same votes are cast, same numbers, 55% Republican, 45% Democrat. But the district lines are drawn differently now, right? So now Republicans win 8 seats and Democrats win 2 seats. You feel me? So family, that's how that works. So naturally, whoever gets the most votes will get the most seats. And if the votes are close, then the seats will be close. Again, 55% Republicans win, 45% Democrats win. Or let's make it an easier number. Let's say out of 10 seats, let's say 60% of Republicans win and 40% of Democrats win. That's 6 to 4. That's 6 seats to 4, right? But when you're able to redistrict, draw the lines differently, then that can make it 8 seats for Republicans and 2 for Democrats and vice versa. So the redistricting, what it does is it can blow it up like that. It doesn't matter that the Democrats got 45% of the votes, almost half. It's possible they only get 2 seats. The way the lines are redrawn. Okay. So now the Democrats will argue, hey, those Republicans drew those lines to dilute our votes to make it worse than what was reflected in the polls. Well, the Republicans will say, hey, man, we legally drew the lines and won the same way you did. Okay? Because before we were in charge, in power, you were. That's what goes on with that. And that is the basic of the fight. It's about drawing the lines, maximizing your voting power or the seats. What's going on, Ronnie Mac? Oh, hold on. 1 second. Wait,
Channel on YouTube.
wait, say that
You'll
again?
be listening to it.
My YouTube channel? Yeah, my YouTube channel you be listening to?
Yeah, that's how I found out about you.
Okay.
And I'm a very big fan.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm a very big fan of the videos that you have and how you break down to other melanated people that are us about how they're not black. You're
Right.
able to feed it to them in a way to where they digest it and they accept it and then they move on.
Right.
Yeah, and I like that. And I just want you to continue doing your thing, brother.
I appreciate the love, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. My biggest fan is in attendance. Kathy's here, my biggest fan. Thank you, brother. See, and that's the whole goal, family. As an educator, as an orator, the goal is to try to communicate your message where the people who are opposed to it accepts it. That's how I like to communicate. That's how I like to communicate. I don't want to communicate where I said the truth, but you think I'm wrong still. No, I will find another way and another way and another way and another way to reiterate it. But I'm going to give it to you in a way where there is no excuse. When you got revenue, yeah, I think I'm one of the only people in these spaces to make revenue bow down. When you got revenue bowing down, a guy who's delusional and HATEFUL towards the lineage, when you get him to bow down and concede, you know you a great communicator. So that's been always my thing, family. My thing is always being right is one thing, but if your op don't accept it, that happens all the time. But what does not happen all the time is your op agreeing you're right. So the brother, Ronnie Mac, thank you for pointing that out. When I tell people they're not black, I was trying to tell Kathy the same thing, but Kathy ADHD, she didn't take her meds or something. She couldn't follow. Well, first of all, she was lying. She tried to say that white people did the buying and selling during the transatlantic slave trade. Now she's like 90 years old, but she got the Bonquisha sassy attitude. Now she can just Google right now, Wikipedia, whatever, Chat GPT, Gemini, Grok. She could just Google right now. Where white people solely involved in the trading and buying of enslaved people from Africa, it's going to say this. If she typed that in there, what she told me, don't forget, she told me that white people did the buying and selling. If she asks Grok, is that true? This is what Grok going to say. Look what Grok going to say.
Are you dumb? Are you dumb?
That's what Grok going to say if she was asked that crazy question. All right, let me get back to gerrymandering. All right. So now imagine 10 classrooms with 10 students each. All right. So now there are 55 Republican students and 45 Democrat students. Matter of fact, let me just change this number. Let me go with 60 Republicans and 40 Democrats. If they all placed a vote on policy, a natural vote, obviously the Republicans will always win 6-4, right? It'll never change. 6-4, as long as that dynamic stays 60-40, 60% Republican, 40% Democrat, it will always go 6-4 when they're voting. Majority wins. Right. So the way this works now with legislators, state legislators, instead of dividing them evenly, where the 60% always wins, the principal PACs is a terminology. All right. That's a political terminology for this topic when it comes to gerrymandering. So this is what happens. So The principal of the school packs almost all Democrats into 2 classrooms. Okay, remember, there's 10 classrooms. There's 10 students each. So instead of one kid in each class, the principal of the school packs almost all Democrats into 2 classrooms. Okay? And spreads Republicans across the other 8 classrooms. This is the redrawing of lines, redistricting, right? The result would be, obviously, Democrats will only dominate 2 classrooms while the Republicans dominate the other 8. So instead of a 6-4 outcome, it'll be an 8-2 outcome, right? So remember, the students didn't change. The room assignments changed. The students are still the students. It's still 60-40. But most of them are in 2 classes and the other are in the other classes. So it's 8-2 outcome. That's what is happening with the redrawing on the maps, right? So that's gerrymandering. That is not unique to Republicans. That is not a Republican thing. Okay? Watch this. Illinois, Democratic, right? Republicans have repeatedly accused Democrats of drawing congressional districts to maximize Democratic seats, right? Illinois is often cited as the most aggressively gerrymandered states in America. So the same argument the Democrats do with the gerrymandering, Republicans, the same complaint that Democrats have on Republicans about gerrymandering, Democrats does it as well. What about Maryland? That's Democratic. For years, Republicans challenged Maryland's congressional maps. The famous snake-shaped districts became national examples of Democratic gerrymandering. How about New York? You already know New York, Democratic. Republicans accused Democrats of trying to redraw districts to gain extra House seats after the 2020 census. What about Massachusetts? That's Democratic. Republicans frequently pointed out that despite millions of Republican voters, Democrats hold almost every congressional seat. So both parties have historically gerrymandered when they control state governments. All right? This is a white tea on white tea crime. And again, they're trying to gaslight us to be the cannon fire. So that's what they're fighting. They took an L, they couldn't hold it, and now they try to make it about something else. Now they're talking about they want to boycott the SEC and with sports. So the boycott theory from the CBC, the Congressional Black Caucus, is that if players, schools, recruits, fans, sponsors, or conferences become involved in a boycott, organizers hope political leaders will feel economic reputational pressure, right? So that's weird because that does nothing. Redistricting maps are usually changed through state legislators, governors, state courts, federal courts. All right. So a boycott is not enough political pressure to overcome the redrawing on a map, right? Historically, you have to file lawsuits. You got to sit there and deal with court rulings. Those have been the most direct mechanisms for changing disputed district maps. All right. So you got to stop. It's either court order changes, a new election changes who controls the legislator, political pressure gradually changes behavior. But the bottom line is no tangibles, more lines. Okay? No tangibles, less districts for you. That's going to keep going on. So I understand it's the uncomfortable truth that many Americans, you don't realize that is what they mean by redrawing, by gerrymandering. They both do it. Democrats do it. Republicans do it. State legislators of both parties have done it whenever they had the opportunity. There's no honor amongst thieves. They both blame each other for unfairly redrawing the maps. They point at each other for doing it. Okay, both of them do it. So this boycotting the SEC, all that stuff, yeah, the best is gonna happen. They'll get clicks and views. You dig? They'll get clicks and views, but it's unlikely that they will be forced to redraw on the map. Okay. The real battle of redistricting happens in the courtrooms during the elections and legislative politics, not with the boycotts. All right. So once again, they want us out there acting a fool, trying to steal our glow. No, tangibles or less districts. That's what's going to keep happening. Ronnie Mac, no tangibles, no vote. That's the bottom line. We got K-Cut Supreme joining. K-Cut Supreme.
Oh, I didn't even know I had pressed to come up.
Okay. Yeah, no problem, no problem.
I'll drop back down. But I first want to applaud you for explaining that.
Thank you.
Very well.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. I think you're probably, as this news has come out the past several weeks, I don't remember when, maybe 3-4 weeks ago, I haven't heard too many people explain it well. And I'm talking about, and I'm not assuming your educational level or anything like that. You sound brilliant. But I mean, I've heard people who have large platforms who are, you know, they call themselves highly educated, you know, accomplished, and they are struggling to explain to people what's going on. So you have a multitude of our people, and they're being targeted by other groups, Africans and other groups, who are telling them that America is taking away their voting rights.
Right.
And our people believe this.
Right.
And I've been on African Lives where they're actually telling our people to denounce America. So I was on a live 2 days ago. One of the guys, you know, I go on these African Lives because I'm trying to figure out what the heck is going on.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, learn what they're talking about. Yeah.
Right. They feel like this thing is being orchestrated at a large levels. And I think, you know, the people involved too, the little cat people. It's vast what's going on here. It's a complex system. So I go into their lives and they're literally talking to our people, telling them to denounce America. They're actually, what they were doing was even telling, and they're like, you guys they're taking away your right to vote. You're not gonna be allowed to vote. You're all I mean, there's a whole propaganda of machine, and the people who are you got our people who are very well educated and educated in the machine, yes,
right,
but educated nonetheless, with masters and PhDs, and they're sitting there telling themselves, "Oh my God, I'm not going to be able to vote anymore." It's right down here. Yeah. So when I was just kind of scrolling TikTok streets and I heard you speaking, and I'm like, okay, his platform, your platform gonna blow up. I see, because I've seen people, they'll come on in and 1 or 2 people, like 2 weeks, hundreds of people in the room.
Right.
And it's because we need more people like you to come up and clear up what's going on.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great inspiration to keep going. Yeah, I appreciate you. All right. Well, I think you like the next thing I talk about just as much. Okay. So, yeah, appreciate that. That is refreshing to know that, what you're saying ain't falling on deaf ears. People are learning, they're getting it, and they find value in what you're doing. Like that is definitely refreshing. It's like a battery. It's like a Duracell battery to make you just keep going and going, regardless of, who's listening right now. Like you said, as long as this content is valuable, they'll come. because people getting tired of the toxicity in these spaces where people are talking about things like you said and don't know what they're talking about. Saying words can't define them, can't go in general research, nothing deep, can't explain it where a person who knows nothing about it can understand it finally for the first time. Yeah, that's what separates people from people. Okay, so what I want to tie into this is Soul City, right? Soul City was supposed to be like the new Black Wall Street in North Carolina, because if you know, one of the Black Wall Streets were in Durham. It was in Durham, North Carolina. W. Du Bois wrote about it in his book. I think it's Soul for Black Folks. He wrote about Black. I think it's that book, or was it Black Wall Street? Whatever book I had it. It's been a long time. But he wrote about the Black Wall Street in North Carolina, not the one in Tulsa and not the one in Rosewood. The one in North Carolina. To me, I think that was the most prosperous one out of all of them. That thing's lit. Okay, but it was they ran highways through it. You know, eminent domain. They stole the capital. Made sure that wealth was not passed down. It would make sure that wealth was not inherited by the children, the offspring. So they tried to come up with a planned Black Wall Street in the 70s, right? Soul City was the nickname of it. Soul City. That's why the name Solon is so great and important, because you see that word soul is tied to some monumental historic moments. Most people never heard of Soul City, right? But the nickname was Soul City. We got Soul Food, Soul City. I call our lineage the Soul Line. You dig? Then we got the Soul Train, the Soul Line. Yeah, that word soul is deep. All right. Anyway, so Soul City was a planned new town for Black economic development. It was part of the federal New Communities program. Communities. I mean, there was others. This wasn't the only one. It was part of the federal New Communities program, right? And let me tell you about the program. So it was authorized by the Housing HUD, the Housing and Urban Development Act of 1968. It was intended, I'm talking about all of these communities, not just Soul City, all of the federal, it's like 13 altogether, I think it was. But they all were authorized by the Housing and Urban Development Act of 1968. That means it's federally funded. They all were intended to create planned communities across America. And they, so dozens of projects were proposed, right? It was located in Warren County, North Carolina. 1969, 1970 is when the project began and when it was launched. And it was launched by an FBA brother named Floyd McKissick, a former Corps leader. It was part of the federal government's New Communities program. President Richard Nixon administrators supported it, all of them. Uh-oh. Are you trying to join, young fella? You could join. You can join. Come on. Okay, so this what's your name? I can't even see. Khan. Yeah, Soul Food, running back, Soul Food, Soul Train, Soul Brother. Right, Soul Brother, I forgot about that. Soul Sister, Soul Music, Soul City, Soul Solon. Yeah, that soul word I'm starting to use more and more than ever, right? Because you got non-FBAs like to play around with the word black. So it's like, all right, cool. We'll get you there, but what about that soul? Okay, so yeah, Soul Brother, Soul Sister. You're exactly right. Okay, now you got the Soul Train Awards. So the President Richard Nixon's administration supported those planned communities. The federal government, this is 1969, okay? The federal government provided roughly 14 million in loans and guarantees. The goal was not to only create a Black-only city, right? So that was not the plan. The plan was not to create a segregated city. Don't forget, we're just coming out of segregation, legal discrimination. We're just coming out of that. So it was not to inspire a segregated city for Black people only. The goal was to create a racially integrated city with strong Black leadership and ownership. So it's ran by us, but all are welcomed, right? So Soul City was intended to attract the following to a poor rural region: manufacturing, housing, real estate businesses, professional jobs. Okay. Developers project as many as 50,000 residents over a period of time, right? No rush. So infrastructure was built. There was roads, there were water systems, industrial sites, housing developments. So now there's a reason why you never heard of the city, right? You're like, where is that now? Where you think is that? Very few businesses ultimately moved there. The population never came close to projections. Why? Because many local and national, not just local, and national opponents attacked the project as wasteful, racially motivated, unrealistic. They're gaslighting, they're lying. Now, my thing is, where is the pushback? And I ain't done. I'm gonna keep going, but I want to show you when they took an L with the districts and they had to the Republicans redrew them in the Republican favor. They want Black Americans to sacrifice scholarships and schools and commitments and pledges and NIL money to address this, right? The recent gerrymandering in favor of white people in the South. But where was the energy when this happened? When our city was sabotaged by local and national, we're talking media. Okay? Look, the project gained negative publicity, and it's that obviously scared away investors, family. They wouldn't even, they are afraid of our success. Our success, I don't know what it does for them. It's like they are also suffering from ethnic inferior complexes. Like they can't stand next to us while we're great. Like they feel inferior if we are on the same playing field. Ain't that crazy? They feel inferior if we are on the same playing field. We're making the same amount of money, the same job title, same hours worked, same duties. They feel inferior. It bothers them. That's an ethnic inferiority complex. Okay. So negative propaganda chased away investors. So they tried to make Soul City look like a federally backed economic development project for only Black Americans. They try to make, oh look, they trying to build a Black Panther city. Major newspapers, LA Times, all of them, frequently portray Soul City as a boondoggle before it ever had a chance to mature. Right. So a lot of those stories focus on empty land, few residents, federal spending, missed projections. The critics often treated the project as a failure years before it completed its timetable of success. Right. Because all these cities had a duration of time before it was considered a failed mission or success mission. So they were already writing story. You can imagine they do it now. Can you imagine 1968? We're just coming out of segregation, legal discrimination. But the point what I'm making to you guys is that where was the liberals, the Democrat shills to protect us from the onslaught of the conservative media? Now, you got illegals in this country, undocumented people who are being legally deported. And liberals, shills are defending them, giving them sanctuary cities, food, money, and all that type of stuff. Where was our protection? We had a right to a planned city like everybody else, federal fundings. Nope. Conservative members of Congress repeatedly attacked federal funding. Congressional investigations generated negative publicity, right? Opponents questioned why taxpayer money was supporting our project. Right. So critics portrayed Soul City as a Black-only city. They were gaslighting. They knew Soul City was part of an integrated project owned and ran by Black Americans, but the media try to frame it as like a Black Panther, Black nationalist city that has it out for white people. Okay.
So what the pattern that I've noticed, I'm just finished. Anything that is specifically targeted for us, they come for it. We saw this with the Fearless Fund.
Right.
In Colorado, there's a Black Doctors Network, and a white woman is now suing them.
Ed Blum.
Anything that is directly focused on us and our improvement and upward mobility, they attack it.
All right. So now let me tell you about that. The Edward Blum thing. All right. With the Fearless Fund. So now that was, unfortunately, that was never going to be successful. All the DEI programs and hirees were never going to happen. Let me tell you why. This is why I speak so aggressive on the word black. So during the 1950s and 60s, and even earlier, nobody on earth in their right mind would call themselves black, because black had negative stigma attached to anybody who took on that name. So nobody was called black. There's no black nation. There's no black tribe. There's no black community. Nothing. People were Negro color, or they lived in their homeland. Right. The Dessalines in 1804 said, "Hey, we're the Haitians." They're the Haitians. Jamaica went from Zaimaca to Jamaica in the 1670. I think they renamed Zaimaca to Jamaica, right? But you had Igbo, you had a country, Mali, you had a bunch of nations. You had France, you had the Congo, you had the Belgium, Germans. Everybody had an ethnicity and nationality. Okay, so we were the only people on Earth without one, right? We were just Negro in color. So I'm saying Black Americans. So we did was, during the Black Civil Rights Movement, the Black Power movement, we said, well, we're the black people, but we're going to make it a positive word, because prior to that, it was negative. Dr. King talked about the negative attributes to black when you place it on people, right? So we became the black people. So in our newspapers, we call ourselves black people. And even in white newspapers, they named us black people, and the Black Society, the Black Crime, whatever, everything is black. And it understood that was our ethnicity, no different than Haitian being the Haitian ethnicity, or Jamaicans being, that's their nationality, ethnicity. Black was our nationality and ethnicity at that time, right? We had songs, Black, I'm proud, Black and Proud. We had chants, Black Power. We had groups, organizations, Black Panthers. We went back in time and anachronistically called our people free blacks, the people who were free from slavery before Emancipation Proclamation. After Emancipation Proclamation, we called that period of time when we got into Congress and mayors and governors and sheriffs, we called that Black Reconstruction. So we went back and called all of and Negro history became Black history. Negro Week became Black. So everything about us, and we even had a black flag called the Black American Heritage Flag by Melvin Charles in 1967. So everything about us was black. Ethnicity, nationality, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's 1950s, 60s. Our government went behind our back, like they did the indigenous people, right? So Walter Plecker, 1924, Racial Integrity Act, had went behind indigenous people back and classified them as racially Negro, right? Them and mulattoes. They became lumped up with us, and they used that to steal from them, steal land and deny rights, property rights. Okay, so now we're talking about 40 years later, 50 years later, same play. So what they did was they took our name, and instead of taking it from us, they gave it to everybody else. So they made, in 1977, the OMB, the Office of Management Budget, had made black a racial category. So black replaced Negro. So we were called the black people, but our race was Negro, like everybody else had African ancestry. But what they did was they made our ethnicity, our nationality, a race, and they ignored it as a peoplehood name, as a ethnonym. They ignored that. So they gave it to everybody else. Now I'm getting to your point. Now, unbeknownst to the American public, that if your name is a race name, you can't get anything done in that name legally, because that violates Section 1981 of the 1866 Civil Rights Act, and that also violates the 14th Amendment, 1868 Equal Protection Clause. So this is what they got Harry Simone on with the Fearless Fund. Okay, so she is using black as an ethnicity, nationality. She was doing a competition fund for black women. Edward Blum seen that, was like, got her. he knew that you cannot do anything for a race of people and be discriminatory against other races, right? So you can't be inclusive of one race and you can't exclude one race. You're violating the 14th Amendment and the 1866 Civil Rights Act. Okay, that's how he's able to sue her. So he showed, hey, look at your language. This is for Black women. So that's the race problem we've been having in Black America. This is why nothing could get done for us under Black as a race. Edward Blum and people like him will legally knock it down. Okay, so that's why in 2016, 15, Tone Talks, Dr. Sandy Darity and Yvette Cornell got wind of that. A lawyer, a politician, and an economist got wind of what they're doing. They're knocking everything under race is on weak foundations. So they realize it has to be lineage based to direct a particular group of people. It cannot be broad. Race is broad. That's Nigerians, that's all of Africans, that's all of the Thousand Islands, that's Haitian, that's all Black Americans. That's too broad, right? That's why you can't do it. But you can create something just for Nigerians. Like you can have a Nigerian fund because it's specific, it's narrow, and it's one people, right? You can do that. But you can't include multiple people and then exclude multiple people. That's the thing they're saying. They say, hey, if it's for one person, make it for one person. But if it's for everybody, then it's for everybody. You can't make it for half of everybody. So they get them with that. So that she got sued for that, and she was forced to change her language to a fund for underprivileged women. So just give you a rundown on that.
So let me ask you, that was brilliant. Your page is in the blog. It's in the blog. I don't know if I can say that. So let me ask you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yesterday, it was yesterday, day before, I'm on an African panel. And the guy said, some African American. And I said, okay, well, what do you mean by African American? Because I was born here. You told me that you're African, and you also told me that you're an American citizen. So you're African American. And so we were kind of playing semantics back and forth.
Right.
And he says to me, well, I'm African American, so are you. That's a problem for me because I've tracked my genealogy back to 1760. That's as far as I was able to make it so far.
Okay. Wow.
And that's with years of research. It's a huge undertaking, right? So my question to you is this. I think it's obvious that African American doesn't solve that. Does solve that?
Let me explain that. No, because the word Black's there, right? So you can't use that. There's no way to use Black and it don't be sued by Ed Blum because he's gonna say no, that is a racial word and you're done. So no, you can't use Black in any sense for anybody, right? So we would have to use freedmen, something else, but you can't use any Asian, white tea, Black, Native American. These are all racial categories, and Edward Blum's waiting on you. And when he sues, he gets money about it. He don't just knock it down. He gets paid. Now, back to those what I do with them is I have a conversation, right? So I would ask him, how are you African American? So what was his best explanation to why is he African American?
They're saying is that everybody who's Black is African.
Nope.
So
start right there. Okay. So that means, so now you got to ask him, when he's using Black, is he using it as a racial category, nationality, or ethnicity? All right. So I'm gonna give him the only answer he can be using because he can't be his nationality ain't Black. It's whatever country he's from in Africa, right? His ethnicity is whatever tribe he's from in Africa. So we got two out of there. So we know that he can only be Black racially. Now watch this. Being Black racially invites billions of people. And that's not a name. Race is an administrative category. White people came up with that to keep track of different people all in one group. Okay, it's almost like gerrymandering, where they redistrict stuff and put everybody over here and everybody. That's all they do. Like that's all they known for. White people are good at that. So he's using Black and he doesn't understand how he's using it. Using Black as a race, you can only use it administratively as a race. It's for censuses purposes only across the world. That's what race is for. There's nobody's racially a name. Nowhere on earth people say, hey, I'm racially black, I'm racially this. No, you were a part of a nationality or ethnicity. White people came up with the race thing with Walter Plecker. So he's confused. He's using words and he's confused on how he's using them. So it's like, sir, if you're black racially, which he is, according to white people, right? Then you ask him, hey, what's your nationality? He's going to tell you, an African country. Let's just say Nigerian. Okay, what's your tribe? He's going to say, let's say Igbo. Okay, so you're Igbo ethnically, you're Nigerian that's your nationality, and you're racially black. You call me African American, right? And by the way, he's African too. That's his continental identifier. I'm not from Africa. So that's not my continental identifier. I wasn't born. I got no citizenship there, no residency, nothing. So I'm not African, no way, shape, or form. Okay, so if we're both black racially, then what is my ethnicity and what is my nationality?
So Africans are saying that our ethnicity is African American.
No. Well, stop. He just said, okay, so we just said African American was given to us by Jesse Jackson in 1989, right? 89.
Mm-hmm.
In 1997, in the 2000s, early 2000s, white people came behind our back again and made that a race. So just like black became a race, African American became a race. Now watch this. Now ask him this. That was given to us in 1989. Ask him what was our ethnicity before Jesse Jackson introduction of African American. So you telling me we didn't have an ethnicity for 400 years until Jesse Jackson?
So the new argument that the Africans are coming out with is you guys were always called African American.
By who? No. Okay,
saying that is in the book from 1700.
Okay, right. Hold on.
Americans.
Got it. See, I'm a scholar and historian. That don't work over here. They try that. I cook Pan-Africans. I cook those guys. Everybody. Listen, they're talking about free blacks, right? Free blacks. Some of them acknowledge some type of African ancestry, and they call the institutions AME, like Richard Allen, the AME Church, right? But look what did not happen. Because you've seen two words in an article, that's not proof 4.5 million people call themselves African American. So see, when you put it in context, was the wording there? Yes. But did people call themselves nationally African American? The answer is emphatically no. Nobody was in significant numbers, in any sense of numbers, was walking around saying they were African American at that time. Damn near everybody was saying they're either colored or Negro. Yeah, so that doesn't that so no, but so yes, so that's wrong. The nationally, nobody was saying they were African American. You might have found 1 or 2 people, literally, out of 4.5 million people who said that. The rest, because there were consequences to say you're African. If you said you were African, you had a free trip to Liberia, the ACS. So we were avoiding any rhetoric tied to Africa. So we know he's lying. But go ahead.
So this is what they're saying. I don't do certain points because I'm not going to let somebody from the third world define who I am. That being said, though, I don't argue with them because I got into a conversation with AI, don't judge me, for about 14 or 15 hours. And by the time I was done, it became clear to me that this is bigger than America. There is an Africanization of dark-skinned people across the planet. I spoke to an African and I said, look, do you guys learn about slavery in Africa? So what do you guys learn? What are they teaching in your schools? And by the time I was done with my line of questioning, it became clear that whatever is being taught here has been globally agreed upon, and they're not learning the same stuff in Africa.
Right.
The kids said to me, they don't teach us that in our schools. Now, you would think millions of people go missing, 12 million according to them. You would think that, one, it would disrupt their ecosystem, right? Two, there would be stories from people trying to track down their relatives, right?
Yeah.
So what I appreciate, and yeah, I'm here because I'm like, this is a very intelligent, young man. I don't get into certain disputes because it's like some of this stuff is too obvious for me to waste my brain cells on.
Right.
If you are telling me 12 million people were removed, you must have been related to somebody. Has your family been? It has only been about 200 years. You're not looking for nobody.
Right.
We have family reunions all the time. You're not trying to track down. So this is bigger than us. But the question you got to ask is, who gains from them absorbing us and Africanizing us? That's the question we got to start asking.
Yeah, we have those conversations a lot. So just to go back for a second, because you said the guy said that we always called ourselves African American. Then he points to one article where one person said the word, used them combined. So now what I could have did was play semantics. Like, bro, how are we American when we didn't have citizenship? Okay, that was 1700s. We didn't get citizenship to 1868. So how are we American? So that's why those words wouldn't be put together. At that time, the only Americans were white people. Like, we were not confused at all. We were enslaved. Okay, we were considered as property. We were far from citizenship. We were trying to get that, and that's why we fought in the Civil War as the biggest slave rebel in the rebellion in this country. But that right there needs to, if that conversation is going to be had. Now, a lot of them ain't going to be honest, but that's what I would do. I'll push back and say, hey, man, so one person wrote an article and you're telling me 4.5 was calling himself that? You're lying. I know what free blacks call themselves. See, one thing about Africans, they don't know about my history more than I do. Okay, and those free blacks were not calling themselves African American, and those free blacks was pretty much up north anyway. They were not in the South like that, because if they're in the South, they'll be re-enslaved. So you got free, you went to a free state. That's common sense. If I'm free, I'm gonna go to a free state, not a Confederate state where they can throw me back in slavery if they choose to. But there is a bigger goal. Okay, so these Africans, what they are in denial of is their role in our biggest demise, right? Which is called the transatlantic slave trade. Check this out. We wouldn't have 400 years of plantation or some type of enslavement in America if we were never sold. So that is on their hands too. So they can't say, yeah, the white man, no, ain't no white man treating us bad if you don't sell us. Okay, so everything we went through, crack, mass incarceration, school to prison pipeline, Jim Crow, so many years of lynching, 100 years of lynching, everything we're going through, all the hardships in America, we can look right at them and say, you did it. You helped do it. Because without that trade, none of this is possible. So they're running from that. Now, I don't believe that they don't know about our history. You know why? Because there is something called hyper-selectivity. When those African immigrants come over here, these aren't the Ray Rays and Pookies. Now, when the islanders come over here, or the Sudanese come over here to Ethiopia, yeah, those are Ray Ray and Pookies, because they come over here as asylees, refugees, and evacuees. That means they're the bottom of the bottom. Okay, and they had hardship. They came over here for better opportunity. But for a lot of African nations, like the West African, Nigerian, Kenya, those places, no, they come over here as hyper-selected immigrants. That means our government, our immigration, handpicked them because they make up the top 1% of their country. They're the brightest minds, and they're some of the wealthiest people of their country. Coming over here, comparing themselves to us, the average us. Their top 1% is coming to our country and then having the nerve to compare their best to our average. It's like, yo, what are you doing? So I know that they're hyper. So now, if they're that educated, and they are, they know, because these are their brightest minds. So you're telling me their brightest minds don't know about what happened? And I don't believe that. Our country's a brain gain country. We want your best. And China, same thing. Chinese people got this weird, oh, they smart. No. They're top 1% over here. The Viveks, the East Indians, they're hyper selected. Their top 1% is over here. and they're gaslighting us, trying to act like they're just the average person of their country. No, you're not. You're the top 1%. You got no business comparing yourself to me. Compare yourself to our top 1%. Compare your body to our body. You dig? And there's no comparison. We run laps around them. But yeah, so that's what's going on. These people are handpicked by our country to help this country be better. We're a brain gain country who goes around selecting other people brain gain population. Canada the same thing, and so does the UK. We all brain gain countries.
So I agree that I don't think Africans know a lot of history. I think they know some history. And I can confidently say that because I'm a recovering Pan-African and I've immersed myself in African culture. Not a lot of it, but enough that I can confidently say they learned some history, not all world history. Their school system, I've gone into the, in real life, I've gotten into debates and won with Billy Fine. That being said, this is what I'm saying. I've been on TikTok. I came here in 2023. And I've been engaged in the number of different movements. We Were Already Here movements, the American Indian movement, the Solon movement, the newly emerging FBA movements. So I have, with every movement, I've done just enough research where I've been able to engage in conversations with these people. When I was doing We Were Already Here, some of us are American Indians, only a small portion of us came here from ships. I said, we're now 26. And here is what I have. This is what I have surmised. You can take it or leave it. We are engaging with people who do not give a damn about what our history is. They don't care what you used to be called in the 80s. Why? Because misery loves company. What do I mean by that? I don't know if you've ever been, if you've ever been in Europe, you'll notice that you get treatment. I haven't done a lot of travel. We left the country twice in my life. Once in my life. And when I did travel throughout Europe, it was clear to me that there was a pecking order amongst dark-skinned people. I, as an American, I'm not bragging about this, but this is some of the things that started to happen when I started connecting dots and waking up to what the heck is going on the planet. I saw how West Africans were treated, and it was vastly different than how I was treated. I'm an American, so I'm perceived different. People are interacting with, oh, you're American? That there's social capital that comes with that. I'm not bragging about it. I'm just saying that is the reality of what's happening on the planet. That is not the case with Africans. I saw how they were mistreated over there. And as a matter of fact, I didn't even like it. It made me sick to my stomach. I was like, there's no way I would allow these people to look down on me.
Right.
So what I'm saying to you, all of those things are good, but I have stopped engaging in it because they don't care. There's something more sinister happening and everybody's in on it. They're sending people over here, and I've got names. I made videos on these people. I took the videos down because my last page got shut down, and I get a little paranoid after that. But I've made videos where I believe that they're sending people over here. They're on payroll to cause dissension in spaces like TikTok. I was on a live 2 days ago where the Africans were saying that Black Americans need to denounce America. This is what I'm talking about. So all I'm saying is, yes, the information, but what I have figured out being in this space for 3 years is they don't care. That's number one. They don't care. I myself have been dumb enough to bring my own genealogy on. Hopefully it hasn't gotten stolen.
Oh yeah, that's gone.
Don't care.
You got some African pretending that's his.
It's possible.
Oh yeah, that's why I don't do that.
Really thought that they cared. They don't care. There's something more sinister going on, and there's something to do with it's something with them trying to absorb everybody so that they, one, can get social capital. I think two, they're trying to attract dollars to Africa, and I think three, they're trying to attract minds. I think they're trying to become the brain game that you speak of.
Yeah, like for me, I engaged to bring about a couple things, right? because some people learn through engagement, right? So I can get on here and talk to myself, by myself to the audience, and some people that's used to learning like that will get what I'm saying. Other people like some type of um, confrontational approach, like two people engaging because they are like you. They've been in these spaces, the African spaces, and they heard them say, "Hey, man, the 1700, 1790 African American youth," and then I say, "Cap," and then they'd be like, "Well, who's right, who's wrong?" Well, the way we can solve that, they come on live and I talk to them directly, and then like you'll see, well, the chat didn't see like, okay, this person was lying the whole time. They were gaslighting or they were like giving a half truth, like kind of like revenue. So sometimes engagement, like debates, uh, people like really enjoy that and they learn like that. Some people don't need that to learn, but I am a content creator, so I create content both ways. I sometimes by myself talking, and sometimes I invite somebody up like Kathy, and she'll get the business.
Let me just say this real quick. I want you to do that. I'm just saying, don't expect me to do it.
Oh yeah. No.
Just don't expect me to
No,
do it.
like
I just doing that.
people always credit me for like my tolerance for some of these people who are playing dumb. A lot of times they get it, but they gaslight, they poke, they try to roast or play down and waste your time. And at some point, I do cut them off, like so they don't waste my time completely. But I use them for content. Once you get on here, like Kathy, once Kathy got on here and was running her mouth like a sailor, just cussing every profane word, I just use her as a case in point of people who are disturbed online, who have no real goals. They come to your spaces. They don't like your spaces, but they can't resist your spaces. But then they say your spaces are no good, but they're always here. So I use her as a case in point, like a case study. Like, yo, look at this. Let's try to pick her brain. Let's see what meds she takes. Guess the meds she take. We play with Kathy. Guess the meds she possibly take. But I like to engage with them because a lot of times they never heard the other argument. So they will like try to believe their own lie and they will get confident in their own lie, like revenue, and go around different platforms spreading that lie. And I've seen these platforms like give these folks the benefit of doubt. So I'm like, oh no, I can't let that happen on my watch. So here I come behind them, inviting those same people on and making light work of them, but making it also a teachable moment where people learn from that dialogue. Like those Africans that saying African American and black racially is they have no idea what our ethnicity is, and I don't know how they can feel that entitled or that emboldened to come from another country and tell us what our ethnicity is, like as though we don't know what the ethnicity is. That's hilarious. Uh, Ethnicities are not permanent, right? Ethnicities can change like the wind. When a group agrees on an ethnicity, that becomes a new one. Just that fact. Just like Jesse Jackson introduced African American, and we didn't agree with that, but it was forced on us administratively. The papers, the LA Times, New York Times, all white people, liberals, Democrats, they pushed that like crazy. And they also said, hey, you can't take advantage of HUD. You dig? All these housing assistance welfare things if you don't select this racial black or racial African American category. So they kind of like deboed it on you in order to get benefits, grants, who knows, financial aid. You had to click the African American black racial box. So now we're coming from a people who are deprived and excluded that owns less than 1% of the wealth. We ain't trying to argue that. All right, listen, man, I gotta click this box for tangibles. Okay, I'll click it. You know, so that's kind of, but we didn't understand the magnitude of that because we think, okay, this is our new ethnicity, whatever. Like, because most of us still stay with black anyway. Yeah, we stayed with black anyway, all throughout that.
And I agree with you. We are, there's something special about us. Like, I don't know all the ins and outs of why we're special, but there's something about us that's different from the rest of the people on the planet. And we do change our names. We're a generative people. What do I mean by that? We change every 10 years, but even that's depressing, and the speed at which we change is speeding up. Now, I'm going to go back to, because I'm a bit of a conspiracy theorist, and I'm of the mind that there's something far more sinister going on. If you think about Africans, they're very static as a people. Same customs and cultures for the last few hundred, maybe thousands of years, right? They believe in preserving, right? They believe in the preservation. And I think people on the other side of the planet, people on the eastern side of the planet, I think that that's largely how they are. You see the same thing in Asia, I believe. And here we are, this generative people. We change our slang, we change our fashion, we change how we wear our hair, sneakers, like how we even show up in the world. You know, our walks are different. Like I remember I grew up in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, and dudes used to even walk a certain way.
Yeah.
Same swagger, just a different walk. We're a generative people. And so now you have this Africanization movement where they're trying to tether us to a people who have been static for the last several thousand years. It makes you wonder what's to be gained for them. Right. What are they gaining? What's happening
here? Yeah, it's almost like some of those movies, like the Us and the Switcheroo, the Destiny Swap. It's almost. You know what? I study history, so when I think of the Hutus and the Tutsis, the Rwanda massacre, the genocide, I kind of can't help but to think of that. That's what they want. So the Hutus was always the majority in that region. The Belgians came over there and purposely empowered the Tutsis, the minority, the weaker group, above the stronger group, and empowered them and made them like the governors, the mayors, they're the people of power, right? The administrators, the enumerators. And what they're going to do with that? Of course, they're going to abuse it because they've been, the weaker group. So they was doing the most to the Hutus. And the Hutus like, hey, man, the white team, man, not here to save you. You better chill out. Like, I don't care what power they gave you. You ain't got no real power over us. And they kept playing and playing and playing. And then, you got the massacre that happened afterward. So I feel like they're trying to do that over here. They're trying to empower these immigrants over us. Maybe that's a sinister thing they're trying to do, hoping that we respond that way or hoping they do something sinister themselves. But they are definitely empowering them over us in many powerful positional roles.
I mean, you got to think about it like, and I'm not trying to be funny, but kind of, but like, I'm really not trying to be funny. So I'm 41. And I admire the younger generation. Like, y'all are really putting word. I'm so proud of y'all. Like, I'm not saying that millennials didn't do our thing, but there's something that you guys were born with that I'm like, dang, millennials should have that. But I remember as a kid watching Save the Children commercials. I remember that. In fact, what used to happen was, and I was talking to somebody who's an older millennial like me, and I was like, yo, remember when your family or your teacher would say, you better eat up all your food because there's a kid in Africa starving right now?
Right.
Like every time you would be guilted, the thing that would be held over you was somebody in Africa is undergoing some form of suffering, whether it's starvation, whether it's WAR, whether it's not having a home. It was like what was ingrained in us is that in Africa, they're always struggling. And then the images were embedded in our minds by way of TV commercials, right? Fast forward to here we are now. Those same people, likely some of the people that we saw on those commercials, coming over here, stepping like they tougher than you, like they're more successful than you. And they're being emboldened by our government.
Yep.
I'm not going to get too much into that, but I'm gonna just say that the new group that came in, I'm not pro, I'm not anti. I'm not going to turn your live into anything political. I promise I won't. I just want to say that one thing I am happy about is it humbled some people. It definitely humbled a lot of people. I'm just leave it at that.
Yeah, so those are Africans that were saying they're African American. What I normally do is when I speak to them, I'll say, well, again, as I do, be proud to be who you are, and technically, you are African, and if you got U.S. citizenship, you're American. So technically, you are probably the only African American here. But I'm not African American. I'm not from Africa. I don't have no allegiance, no alliance. I have no residency. I have no citizenship. I have no homeland ties. I have no family over there. In my recent, genealogical records, I have no ties to Africa. That's all you, bro. You can have that. I'm Black American, and I let them know they're not, right? And I say they're not because I'm Black ethnically and I'm Black nationally, right? They're Black administratively. And that's just on paper. That's not in their day-to-day daily affairs. Like they don't go around saying, "Hey, what's up, Black man?" Like how we do. We was going around saying the Black man is God. They never. That's not their chant. That's our chant, right? So I just remind them, hey, remember, you're not Black. And what I mean is, you never called yourself Black. Whitey people called you Black, and it was for the administrative purposes. We called ourselves Black, and we got music and flags and songs and cultures behind our Blackness. You have none of that in your homeland. All you have is racial censuses that keeps track of you, and only that calls you Black. Nowhere in your own society do you use that word. That word to them is still taboo. So Black, they're not Black at all, just on paper, and that's why I call it paper ethnocide. The indigenous people were paper genocided. We're being paper ethnocided. They're trying to get rid of our ethnicity by diluting it and including these guys as Black, and we're taking it back. We're like, nope, you're not Black, because that's paper Black. Like you're paper Black. We are real Black. We are ethnically Black with a capital B. I don't know what you are, but it ain't us. So we use Black differently. When we say we're Black Americans, we're saying it nationally and ethnically. We're not saying it including everybody in the world. They are. So even they're Black differently. They're Black racially, we're Black ethnically. It's like, yo, we are not the same in no way, shape, fashion, or form.
Daddy, what's that?
That's a speedometer. Yeah, so now to even go deeper, right? When you name yourself, that's called an endonym. Endos, Greek word, endos mean inside, onym mean name. It's an inside name. We called ourselves Black, endonym. They were called Black by the Europeans in our country. That's called an exonym. Exos, outside, onym name, outsider name. So they're happy their oppressors named them our name. They're happy that their oppressors call them our name, not that they call themselves our name. So it just shows you that they hold these oppressors, the people they complain about. Oh man, the white people, the imperialists, the neo-colonists. Oh my God, they're so terrible. But you value their words greatly. You believe when they say something, it's gold. You believe you're Black because they called you Black, and you know that those are your oppressors, your ex-colonizers. We called ourselves Black, big difference. Exonym versus endonym. So when I have these conversations with them, obviously they'd be lost in the sauce. But they normally come around. But go ahead.
So I wasn't even aware of the distinctions between a group naming themselves or being external. What I will say, because I know you have a new panelist, but what I will say is, I know that my mother will always tell me, people swim in oceans filled with sharks to get here. You should be happy you were born in America. Because I will always say I want to go travel the world and Gallivan and all of that. And but she instilled in me this sense of pride in being American, the sacrifices that were made. She didn't use the word ancestors. My family's from the South, so they would say elders. Ancestors becoming a new word. We would always say elders. That being said, I understand why people want to be here. This is the land of milk and honey, the land of opportunity. But I can't see myself giving up the identity that I was born into for the sake of becoming something else. Like if I came here as a Ghanaian from the Ashanti tribe, I would bring that would be the identity with which I come to America with, and I would walk with that proudly. And everything that I do would be an extension of that. I would not get rid of that just to become something else. So I'm not sure why they're taking on the identity of Black, because it just seems,
No, go back.
it just seems, I don't know, what do you need the identity of Black for? You're African, you're Ghanaian, you're from the Ashanti tribe.
Yeah, a
What
bunch
do
of
you need
things.
to now be Black for?
Right, they got like 4 to 5 names. Well, maybe she can answer that. So we have the Pan-African. What were you saying in the chat?
Yes, I would be considered a Black American. Have been for almost 50 years.
50 years.
I claim almost, yeah.
Wait, hold on. So what country are you originally from? Your ancestry.
Like I said, I would be considered a Black American. But as far as where that term Black comes from, yeah. I embraced the term Black for the same reason my ancestors in this country did. Turn of the century, all the way through the civil rights era and so forth, because it was the term that we were called at first as an antithesis to something other than white.
Wait, hold on. The
slaves were.
Wait, hold on. Hey, hello. Yeah. You gotta hold on. Like once I think you're mistaken at something, I want more clarity. Who called us Black?
And the same thing that
what year?
If you go to there's a document,
right?
A
document
that was used in 1631.
Okay, well, hold on. Just slow down. So I can be with you. So Black or Negro?
Both.
Okay, hold on. So wait. No. That's no. Also, Mayate means black beetle. So it's not about what it means. It's about the application of the word. When Europeans were walking around calling everybody Negro, that did not simply mean the transliteration of black. That was equated to an inferior. So when they call people Negroes, that was equivalent of Negro. I mean, of inferiors. So no, there's application of a word, and they were going by that definition. They were going by the negative connotative definition they gave Negro. They were not simply calling people just black human beings and they're the white ones. No, Negro had a negative connotation attached to it, and it was equated with inferiority. So no, we're not going on what means. We're going on how it was applied, and you agree that Negro was applied to people disrespectfully, right? Okay, hold on. Wait. Hold on. Just slow down. Okay, so when an outsider call you something, is that not an exonym? Wait. Hey, bro. I'm asking. I'm about to get ready. I'm asking you a question. No. Okay. You're right. But I am gonna let you though, because we're not gonna be disingenuous. So what they like to try to do is tell you what something means. Okay, so if Negro just means black, and we call ourselves black, what does black mean?
I didn't even know he was in his 50s. I thought he was younger than that. Has a really young voice. I've seen him on other funerals.
Yeah, he trolls. He comes here. See, what one thing you can't let him do is do that. It just talk. When you hold them to certain things, you see what happens. They crash out and keep trying to talk over you. Exonym. So now what he did was he mixed up what I said earlier, or he missed it. I said when an outsider call you something, that's an exonym. That's not respected. Nobody takes on the outsider name of themselves. You usually drop it and go with your own. So these same people call everybody Negro, not black. That's why I said, what year? 1600s. Ho. We were called Negro for sure, because that was a word coming from the Portuguese. When the British got us, they got us from the Portuguese, and they borrowed the name Negro. They weren't saying black. So he's playing semantics. I'm going what was said. Everybody of dark hue, pretty much that white people came in contact with and had nefarious intentions on, they called them Negroes. They didn't call them black. They called them Noor, and they called them Bilad al Sudan. right? So I'm not gonna let a fake Pan-African come over here and try to re-educate me or revise history. So I know white people was calling everybody globally, and black wasn't on the table.
I'm happy you called him that because there's something going on. So that older generation, I'm sorry, I believe in respecting, and I just said I'm 41, so I'm not that far removed from Gen X. I'm not me relatively young, but I have O and F, and O and F. I created the term the other night. Is O bigger fatigue, right. And I'm gonna tell you why it happens. We come from a generation. I was in a live the other night. It was a O and F on here, and he getting at me because I'm talking about how I come from a generation where I watched Africans use Black American women for green cards. This ONF, he was 60, proceeds to just be so aggressive and just ignorant. And here's where I'm going with this. This man sounds so much like my father. My father was in prison my whole life, and he and other people in his clique would distribute smack into the community. These same people that were distributing smack into the communities are the Pan-Africans we're talking to right now. The same people where you couldn't, even during the summertime, sit out on a bench without these people bucking smacks at each other, taking people out accidentally, when they now come on TikTok and lecture us about Africa. Same people who I had to watch destroy their own community.
Right.
And he comes from that generation. And it's a lot of these O and Fs on this platform with this, and a lot of them spent a lot of time in I don't even know what's a TikTok funny word, JAIL. A lot of these dudes are just coming out. They just got their internet. They just got their 5G. And they're still coming out with these archaic, prehistoric views.
Right.
And they want to come and lecture us. No, you need to go and fix your community. You need to explain to me why y'all was selling stuff to people who were carrying babies, why y'all were out there bucking snots at each other, and why you guys left the community in the state in which you left it. Don't talk to me about no Africa.
Zero. And what happens is that I have a high standard of conversation. So, for example, when I'm here talking to you, explaining anything, Soul City, gerrymandering, like, you're allowed to stop me and say, hey, because why continue going on when you're lost, when one thing doesn't make sense to you? That means the whole thing won't make sense, right? So that's why you got to stop people immediately, like you do in class. The teacher say, hey, raise your hand if you're confused, right? They don't just keep telling you the equation, right? Once you're confused at one part, the whole equation ain't gonna make sense to you. So when we're having a discussion, a dialogue, and you're talking, and I believe you're wrong, you're revising history, I'm going to be ahistorical. I'm going to stop you and have you clarify, because he was throwing around the word black just to find out it was really Negro. You see how he supplanted Negro with black to make his point? And I said, hey, that's why I say what year. I always get these liars when I say what year, because I know what was going on in these years. So I say, well, had he said 1900 something, I'll let him keep going. You say 1600s, my guy? Oh, stop. I know black was not being circulated. We were called Negroes. We were called colored and other things. We were not called black. And by the way, the conversation wasn't even about what we called ourselves, okay? It was about it wasn't about what people called us. Our conversation was about what we call ourselves, brother. You missed it. I was putting stock in what we call ourselves, and I was taking stock out what people call you. So you missed it. I was saying, if people call you something that doesn't count, there's no value to that. Nobody has the right to name you. Everybody on earth named themselves. So my point was, we named ourselves black and we gave it a definition. So when white people call you something, you take on their applied definition. So when they called you Negro, a lot of things came with that word, like inferiority, animalistic, worthy of enslavement, no rights a white man is bound to respect. That comes behind Negro. Okay, and it could sell your kids. But what comes behind black, how we define it, was black excellence, greatness, innovators, inventors, 50,000 patents. You dig? The culture of the world, When we say black, the influencers of the world, the moral code of the world, right? The moral ambassadors of the world. When we say black, all that's attached to it, my guy. So it's our definition, our description, and our word. We didn't borrow the white man definition of black, my guy. Dr. King already told you that white people define, when they attach black to people, it was negative, taboo, stigmas. Okay, stuff that nobody will ever volunteer to be a part of. So when you listen to an FBA man and woman, you need to hear it all. Don't just hop on with a gotcha. It's not going to work. I'm going to slow you down and get you to clarify what you're saying. And we found out that the word was really Negro. They were using in 1600. And you said it means black. But guess what? They didn't call us what the word meant. They called us the word. The word. Okay, so we're going to stick with documented history. They didn't call us black. They called us Negro. So that's anybody who want to hop on here. If you talk to me, it has to be documented facts. Don't give me what something means. Give me what the words that were being used at that time. Don't be anachronistic. That's what he's doing. That again, that word, he don't know how to spell it. I've never heard it before. That's called being anachronistic. You're going back in time and giving it modern words we use today. Don't be anachronistic with me, my guy. Talk to me like we're at that time. Negro was floating around, not black. Okay.
260.
So that's what they do when you be in their spaces. Just that right there. And by the way, the guy name is Pan-African. Okay. Yeah, I know. I got a chart. Okay, so the guy name is Pan-African. In 2026, when people tie, knowing that we're delineating, and disaggregating, when people put Pan-African on their name and come into our spaces, Pan-African really is literally like anti-lineage. When people put Pan-African as their name today in 2026, they're telling you they're anti-lineage, they're anti-our lineage. That's all that means. Is letting us know he's not. Because we know Pan-Africanism did nothing for anybody. And matter of fact, it can't. Because if they try to do something for black people, what happens? Edward Blum says, what you trying to do? Let's go to court. You are violating the 14th Amendment, Section 1891 of the Civil Rights Act of 1866. It will get thrown down and sued. You can't do anything for black people racially in this country without Edward Blum stepping up to the plate like Barry Bonds.
Oh, and he got other people. He out there giving other people the game. I told you they doing it out here in Colorado. But I'm happy to use the word agent because I'm going to say this again. These ONs, I'm not saying everybody from Gen X was a terror, but from where I'm from, in Brooklyn, New York, these ONs were terrorists. I'm talking about they terrorized our community. I don't even think I can say that word. I don't know another word for that word, but they just brought chaos.
Yeah, you can say terror.
They brought. I can say terror. These ONs said they terrorized our communities, and so they were agents. I don't know how they did it. I don't know if it was the water, if they put chips in their necks. What I see these people doing as a continuation, trying to bring Pan-Africanism into this movement, bring it into this timeline, bring it into this era. I see them as being tools or being a continuation of the terror that they reigned upon in their own community. So it wasn't enough for them to destroy our communities in the 80s and the 90s. They want to bring it into the 2000s. So I'm very happy that you called it a tool.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Yeah. So did you know that remember the smack era where in the 80s where they're selling that crystal stuff to everybody?
Yep.
Did you know
yesterday?
Did you know the responsible parties for that? There was two major responsible parties. Are you aware of that?
Was it one of them a 3-letter alphabet? Because I'm doing some research on that right now.
That's one. But
three What is it? How you say 3-letter agency?
Yeah, you talking about the CIA?
Yeah.
With the contraband with Gary Webb and the Dark Alliance, the book I had. Okay, right. But hold on, but what's the other people who were a joint venture in that project? Are you aware of them?
Do they wear little things in their heads?
No.
Oh, maybe I don't.
This is going to shock you. Jamaicans were 40 to 45% responsible.
The day in African lives, I was just talking about that. Yo, they brought, you know what they brought to New York? They brought, because people are like, oh, if you're from New York, that means you got tether in your blood. Our people was coming up from the South jobs.
Right.
So a lot of people, and not everybody is in jobs. And what happened was when they brought them Jamaicans, the Jamaicans brought hedonism. They brought the GUNs, the pew-pews,
Yep.
and they brought the smack.
Degeneracy. Bibimata is a Jamaican word that was in the Glean, right? Their paper in Kingston, Jamaica in 1960s. So they had a term for unwedded relationships that produced kids. Their term was BEBI MADA, MADA. That was their, while we were at 70% marriages in the 1960s, these guys were 20% wedded people, 80% baby mamas. Okay, where the men had what they call in Jamaica jackets. These men had jackets. They had kids that wasn't their kids, but they thought it was their kids for monetary gain. But they had that problem going way back in the 1960s. So when they came here, they introduced that culture, that degeneracy to us. And look what we say now, baby mother. And the world think that's our name. That's our term. That's their term. So you're going to see, when you peel back the onion, you're going to see Jamaica is responsible for a lot of degeneracy in Black American culture.
So I saw, again, grew up in the 80s, grew up in our culture didn't start that like that. When I did my memory, that is the information that I came back to. I said we were good until we started interacting.
Wait. You almost slid that by. Not Black groups. You mean foreign African Afro groups.
African Afro group. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. African.
Yeah.
What is it? Afro-African
Group.
Or
immigrant.
Okay.
Or you could say immigrant.
Black,
Afro immigrants. Right. No,
right,
not black. Not black. Black and immigrant. That's those words don't go together. But you can't be immigrant if you're black. Black is it's a foundational word. Is native to this country. You cannot be immigrant if you're black.
Immigrants.
Right. That's what they call themselves. They call themselves Afro-Latina, Afro-Jamaican, Afro-Haitian, Afro-Iranian. Aren't they called Afro-Iranians? Afro-Cubans?
That's what I was saying earlier. What would you need the Black identity for if y'all all are the same?
Right. Right. Well, that identity was never a choice until 2020, like 2020s. That's when they start to embrace Black because they see where we were going. We were delineating and they know the tangible is going to follow us. So in 2020s, you got this surge of foreigners, musty foreigners, trying to identify as Black today, but they still can't do it because it's a racialized hijack. And it's a nothing burger. Remember, you can't do anything under that racialized term. So they're hijacking a term the tether on anchor to a term that is useless. That's why we threw the foundation on it just for distinction purpose. So that the purpose FBA served, it's a delineating term that separates us for the cosplaying black people who are black racially, we're black ethnically. But again, black racially is nothing. That's just on paper. That's administrative business only. All right. We're black in our daily lives, day-to-day lives. For every minute, every second of our life, we're black. We're not black just on when we fill out a form. They're only black when they fill out a form. Okay. So we say FBA to distinguish us from them and ADOS and so on. Those are all delineating terms. But a freedman, if we try and do something legally under a name where it can like pass strict scrutiny. So strict scrutiny is a court term that shoots down or pew down. I love TikTok shot. Pew down like repertory cases, right? Freedmen is a legal name that their government gave us. Abraham Lincoln said we're the freedmen, so we can use that. They gave it to us. So thank you for the alley-oop. So freedmen will be the name most likely we will argue under because it's going to be strict scrutiny because that's what they called us to separate us from whoever else. And it was not an all-inclusive term. It was a specific event in this country of people being freed by Emancipation Proclamation. But you can't delineate better than that word.
So well, then let me ask you. Okay, now this delineation move is taking off. I evangelize delineation. I don't necessarily evangelize the word FBA because I'm not sure how that's going to help us legally, but I do evangelize delineation. Yeah. That being said, if everyone is evangelizing FBA, but it's not going to help us legally, where's all of this going?
Yeah, too. Nah, so what happens is, like for example, you got people, you got Japanese people, right? Japanese people and Chinese people, like they're called Asian, right? And that's not going to change. Now they can't use Asian for specific tangibles. They can't use the word Asian, right? But that don't mean they're still not classified as Asian. So even though we can't use some of these terms in court, and don't forget, like these are temporary placement holders anyway. These are like permanent, forever type descriptive ethnic labels. They're just for now because they're easy to catch on, right? They make sense once you say them. You ain't got to do a lot of explaining, hey, this is ADOS. You're an American descendant of slavery. Hey, you are FBA, you're a Black American, but your ancestors founded the country. Like, so this ain't a hard concept to grasp. That's why we're using those right now. They're easy to cling on to show separation from us and other people who are cosplaying as us. So these are easy delineating terms. Freedmen's a little trickier because freedman is an exonym. It was given to us by an outsider, so it's not an endonym. We can't take it as a real name, but we could use it legally and legally only. Right, to get tangibles exclusively and specifically for the lineage. So freedman is like a great lineage term that's easy to understand because our government is already acquainted. See, now if you say Solon, our government got questions. Hey, what's Solon? Is that a race? Oh my God, what's going on? But freedmen, they know it's not a race. They came up with it, right? So it's so easy to like get behind that. It's a name that our government is already aware of. It has history behind it. Things were given to people under that name, like the Freedmen Bank, Freedmen Bureau, Freedmen Schools, Freedmen Temporary Housing. So we actually got things under that name. 40 acres and a mule, even though you took it back, but 40 acres and a mule. So we got things. We got freedom, right? So we got things under that name. So that name is so easy to use to get tangibles and other things, but it's a bad name to choose as an ethnicity because it's an exonym. It was given to us and defined by somebody else.
I got 3%.
I mean, that makes sense. I really she said something pretty powerful. The president of Ghana came to the UN and they were out there with the Lao system, and she said, "Look, some people who've undergone the same movement, it took some groups 10 years. One group, she said it took them 20 years to change their names. I think she was probably talking policy-wise or legally, I'm not sure. But I say that to say, I keep hoping to myself that, like California, and I don't know how much impact the California bill is going to have, but I'm proud of the work that they did getting that bill to go through, is that by the time the 2030 census get here, that we rid ourselves of the term African American, because I despise that term. I really do. We just need to just get rid of it on paper as well.
Yeah, that's what we want to do. We want to get rid of that and add what they always call themselves African. So I propose people of African people of African descendantry, right? So descent. So they can use that if they want to include themselves on administrative paperwork. You can say you are a Pole, you are a person of African descent.
I don't even see the point in we with regard to us. I don't even see why we would even still discuss African descent, because I don't see
Not us.
one of my
That's for them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, one of my neighbors, her dad came here in the 20s or 30s or something. She's older. He must have came in like 20s, I think, from Norway. And then what happened was that they would change their names and all of this.
Oh yeah.
And you wouldn't even know. They blend in like they're actual Americans.
The small hats.
I know that on Europe.
Oh yeah. Okay. So that was going to my other thing that I'll touch on next slide. But I was touching on that. So white people like they did that, but white people harmed themselves historically and since like the 1700s, as far as because I was dealing with the chimping out phrase, right? So people get mad when we use it. No, we can use it because the real chimps are white people. So I expose how Nuremberg, Germany, right? Nazi Germany. It was the Nazis who depicted the small hats as chimps and monkeys in their newspapers. I exposed that it was the Germans who depicted the Slavs and their own poor as monkeys. And I expose how the Americans over here depicted the Irish and Italians as monkeys, simian type people. And anybody who accepted the evolution theory, they depicted those white people as simian monkeys. And not just that, during World War II, they depicted Japanese people in internment camps in this country as monkeys, simian monkeys. All right. Then during the Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882, where they were trying to limit Chinese people in this country, they also were depicted as monkeys and chimps. So if anybody's chimping out, it's been the people. Oh, then I forgot about the war between the French and the Brits back in like the 1700s. They both depicted themselves as gorillas and monkeys and simians and chimps in their publicity, in their propaganda. Both of them was calling themselves monkeys. So the chimping out thing has always been them. They always depicted themselves as chimps. So now they want to come like that Pan-African. They want to come now and anachronistically try to call us the chimp. Like, no. I know your history. I know y'all got a 300-year history of calling each other chimps. So you guys chimping out, we're using that word for you. You always chimped out. When you place fiery crosses on our front lawn, that ain't chimping out. When you created a system called Jim Crow, that ain't chimping that ain't chimping out. When you lock people up for vagrancy and force them into convict leasing, right, that ain't chimping out. 100 years of lynching, that ain't chimping out. So like they have a long 400-year history of chimping out. So no, we're taking that word like we do, because we got the swag. We taking that word and we putting it back on them. So Chud the Builder, he was chimping out when he was going to those neighborhoods trying to draw a reaction. That's called chimping out. Wait, his actions was chimping out. They have been the true chimps historically. They're not going to revise history and put that on us. Not on my watch. I know. What's that movie? I Know What You Did Last Summer.
There's a lot of revisionist history going on, but this is this has been a great live, because I'm about to go out. This has been a great live. I see your page because I've seen it so many times. Like, I don't know if you're new or
Yeah, I'm new.
Page before? Oh, you knew? Okay, yeah, that's how it always goes. So you'll be one of those people that it'll be hard to hear your piano soon. So yeah, this was great. I think that what drew me in was a discussion around the gerrymandering because a lot of people don't understand what that is. A lot of our people don't understand what that is.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that it's it's not a matter of just intellect. It's just a matter of there's a lot of misinformation going on.
Right. And gaslighting because people package it as they're stealing your vote. Like what?
Or they just don't they're not gonna let you do it at all. Which is like, if you all really believe that, then why aren't you in the streets?
Mm-hmm.
Not that I'm promoting that.
Right.
But yeah, no, this has been a great live. Thank you for having me. I look forward to seeing you on these TikToks.
And I appreciate it. I didn't mention. I forgot to disclose to you that I'm on YouTube as well right now, live. I'm live, so people on YouTube they like you. They say she's cool. She knows what she's talking about. Okay.
Yeah. Appreciate that. All right, family. Thank you. Wait, what's your YouTube channel?
FBA News and Updates.
Oh, FBA. Okay, I'm gonna go follow right now. I'm gonna go follow that right now. Okay. All right. All right. Peace, family. Enjoy.
All right. Have a good one. Thanks for calling. And you made the conversation very interesting.
Thank you. All right. Later.
All right. Hope to see you again. Take care. All right, family. So there you go. So TikTok, I am going to close out because I do want to play. So this is guy that called in Tariq Nasheed show, and he be talking this clause stuff. Oh, it's so hilarious. So he had called back again with some what he say? He said he said intrify. Oh, it was so hilarious. He said he was like, you don't know what an intrify is? Tariq like, no, what's that? You don't know what an intrify. It was so funny. So I do want to close out with that. Okay. So TikTok, I am gonna give you Charleston White real fast. All right. He was trying to break down to a Jamaican lady that she wasn't black. She received it well. And I do the same thing. I let people know who they are and who you're not. All right.
I'm Jamaican.
You ain't black.
Then what am I?
Jamaican.
I'm black.
You Jamaican.
No.
You Jamaican.
There's a difference, huh?
It's a difference.
Okay, describe the difference.
If I go to your...
What color is my skin? What color is my skin?
Yellow.
Okay, and it derives from?
Even white derived from black. Even white derived from black. All colors in the color spectrum come from the black. But y'all have been classified as Jamaicans.
When I fill out the paperwork here in the States, it doesn't say Jamaican anywhere.
How can you describe me as being black? You have a name. You're Jamaican.
And you're American.
Well, I'm black American.
Okay, I'm black Jamaican.
It don't say that. I'm up now. It don't say that. Our paperwork, we have to check something. When you go back home, you don't check nothing. You're automatic Jamaican.
Right.
I'm not automatic American. I'm automatic black. You see what I'm saying? So when we say black, we talking us. Mm-hmm. Y'all ain't us. Don't y'all got Jamaican food?
Yes.
Don't y'all have a Jamaican culture?
Yes.
We don't. So we those seeds. We are not African seeds. We don't have no African bloodline other than what the white boy have.
But you could call me the can man, because anybody can get it. Africans, Americans, Dominicans, Mexicans, anybody can get it.
I became the can man. Everybody can get it. Dominican, African, Haitian, Jamaican, all you can get it. I'm the damn can man.
Oh my God!
All right, TikTok. I'm out on TikTok. Catch me on FBA News Updates. And let me play the clause guy. Oh my God. He came back with Intrify. So hilarious. The Intrify thing is so hilarious. Hold on. I gotta play this before I go. The Intrify and clause. Oh my God.
Peace,
No,
peace,
no, no.
peace.
Hold
I
on,
have
hold
a
on. That's the wrong one. All right.
That 4-4 is
A
for the
pie
pie.
is a pie is
Yo, this is hilarious, yo. This gotta be the funniest thing this year,
okay.
yo.
What's up, Jazzy?
This Claus guy is the funniest guy this year. And he's gonna do this one, and he's gonna come back with the intrify. Too funny.
Yeah, how you doing?
What's going on with you, Jazzy? Where you from, brother?
I'm from London.
Oh, cool. By way of Jamaica?
You could, yeah. You're just listening. Oh, not because people in the car.
Brother, you all right? Okay, let me get him out of here. This nigga done dole accent. Yeah, he kind of had an Australian thing going on. Let's get Miss B. Miss Bia.
Hello.
What's up, King?
What's up, Tariq, Bo?
How you doing, brother?
I'm all right.
What's on your mind?
I just want to say, FBA is a clause. Do you know what a clause is?
A clause? Spell that.
A clause. CLAUSE.
Yes, okay. A clause. What does that mean?
A clause is or a sentence or anything with multiple meaning. So when you say FBA, we say FBA is
slow down. Please slow down. Let's slow down because brother, you are talking in tongues right now. Let's slow it down. You scratching and mixing and shit. You sound like Dougie Fresh.
My bad.
All right. Now, FBA is a clause. It has multiple meanings. Meaning what now?
One word or phrase with multiple meanings.
Okay, that I don't get what that means.
So one word, I say the color blue. Multiple things about the color blue. The color blue is the color blue. Green is not the color blue. You know, multiple with all those things about the color blue. You know, multiple things about one thing. So when you say FBA is African lineage, but not African, that's a clause.
That don't make no sense, sir.
You can't be you say FBA is you know, it makes what it makes African, Native American, and American. What is it? You know, all that will be a clause. All that will be a clause for the term FBA.
That makes no sense, sir.
I know it makes no sense. It's a clause. It's called a clause though. Like
No,
when you go on the dictionary. When you go in the dictionary, you look at all the words and you see multiple definitions and things for the words. Those are all called clauses.
Listen.
FBA, African but not African will be.
You keep saying African. No.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay. What's a cake? Define what a cake is.
A what? A cake is a cake.
Okay, what is a cake? What is a cake? It's K. No, CAKE. What's a cake?
A cake is a cake. A cake is a cake.
No. You can't define it with the no. You can't define it with the name. No. What is a cake? You can't define it with the name. What makes a cake? What's the difference between a cake and a pie?
It's the difference.
Nothing. What's the difference between a cake and a pie?
A cake is a cake and a pie is a pie.
That's not a definition, sir. You're just naming something over and over again. See, this is why you're not articulating yourself that well, sir.
No, a cake is a cake and a pie is a pie.
What's the difference?
They both have definitions.
So what's the definition of them?
I don't know I don't know what the definition is.
You don't know what a pie is?
Yeah, I know what a pie is, but I don't know.
Define it.
A pie is a pie. A pie is a pie.
No, it's not a pie. It's a pie. A pie is a pastry dish,
right,
that you bake, using dough, as a crust, and you usually fill it with something, usually a fruit, or some type of vegetable, and you put sweetener in it.
Yes, yes.
That's what a pie is.
Now you just said.
All right, I just gave a definition. I just defined what a pie is.
Right.
A
And
cake.
all those things.
Stop talking, because you just saying the same shit over and over.
No, I'm sorry, Bo. All those things you said about a pie are all clauses. Are all different things about different things about that one thing.
Right. So no, that's not a clause. There's different things that goes into making a pie. That's not a clause. A pie is what it is. It's its own separate entity.
Which is a clause. A pie
that's
is
not
a
pie. Clause. That's a noun. It's a thing. It's not a clause. A pie is a very distinct pastry.
But it's multiple things. I know, but just multiple things about a pie, dude. All those things you're saying are clauses.
A pie is one thing, sir.
But multiple things about a pie, about that one pie, about a pie.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, sir.
Okay, FBA is a clause. When you say FBA and you describe FBA, you say African and what African, Native American, and what else? But African, Native American, and Indigenous American ancestry. That's a clause. That's a clause for FBA. That's all. That's a clause for FBA.
Bruh.
Multiple things about the word, multiple things about the one FBA.
My God.
All right. Thank you so much. I'm so glad to have you here, sir. All right. What the hell was that? Good freaking grief. What the hell was that? What prison babble was that? Oh, God. When you go to jail, and I don't knock anybody for going to prison. I don't knock you. Things happen. Y'all go in jail and dude read one book, and he saw the word clause somewhere, and now he's trying to overuse it and use it in a out of context manner. He read the definition of clause while in jail. So now he thinks using the word clause makes him seem smart. He read that somewhere in prison, and now he's trying to misapply it to certain things. I know dudes from jail who used to do that. They'll learn a word and then try to crowbar that word, that one word that they learned in the situations. Yeah. He's one of them kind. What he says, and I'm speech impediment, I'm trying, But if you already got a little impediment, don't put dumb shit with it. That's see, FBA is a clause. See, the African and the Native American is that's a clause. See, what you got to understand. See, it can't be. There's multiple things in the world at the same time. That's a clause. That I want you to understand that. See, well, for example, blue is blue. Okay, the color blue is the color blue. Mahogany is mahogany. See, blue and mahogany, those are compatible, but they don't go together because that's a clause. See, that's what y'all don't understand. That's a clause, okay? Now, a cake and a pie. What's a cake and a pie? A pie and a cake, okay? Both of them is clauses, okay? A pie is a pie, a cake is a cake, okay? See, those things cannot coexist in the same universe unless you put a clause in front of it. Then there are two multiple things that mean different things at the same time. Like green is green. No. Orange is orange. Okay? Orange is orange. Anywhere you go, orange is gonna be orange. African orange, Filipino orange,
my God.
FBA orange, all of it is orange. You understand me? What are you talking about? No. Okay. Okay. All right. All right.
Yo, I
Good
was
grief.
yo. He said, "What's a pie? A pie is a pie." What's a pie? A pie is a pie. So what's a clause? A clause is a clause. Like, yeah. Hey, yo, listen, what I would have done. When I can't take you seriously, then I'm gonna make you not take me seriously. It's a clause. What's a clause? A clause is a clause. Really? What's a pie? A pie is a pie. All right, well, your clause doesn't outweigh a Swazi. Unbiased, what's a Swazi? A Swazi is a Swazi. I'm gonna the sound. I'm gonna just make up words. A Swazi is a Swazi. A goober is a goober. Okay? Nah, so I don't got no clause because I got a goober. And a goober is a goober. And it overrides a clause. Okay?
How long you been out of jail, brother? Welcome home. Welcome back on the streets, brother. I'll just say that. Welcome back on the streets, brother. We gotta shake that prison mindset off you. God.
All right, so here's the other one when he called back. I think this is him. He called back in with the...
You don't have to call yourself FBA.
No, you're trying to act like all of us are FBA.
I'm not trying to do anything. People chose the term. I didn't force anybody to do anything. It's a term that everybody chose. I didn't do anything.
Who's everybody? Who's everybody?
Everybody, the people who got you mad. Everybody who got you mad. You mad for a reason, sir.
I don't see no council that...
Yeah, you're mad for a reason.
What council chose?
You're mad because this delineation is whooping your ass, sir. So it's significant enough to get you, it's got you tight and mad, talking about you looking up shit. You up here talking about you looking up shit. So yeah, you mad. It got you mad. This delineation is powerful and it has you very mad, sir. Why are you upset with delineation?
Because even with your delineation, you don't know what intrafy is.
So who gives a shit? What does that have to do with our lineage?
What? That you got a white hairline, white boy.
Okay, you just saying anything. You're being sassy. You're not even making sense.
Nigga, you don't know what...
Who cares? This is a sassy... Okay. It's a clause.
You don't know what intrafy is.
This is, ladies and gentlemen, this is an LGBT punk. All right? This is a sassy punk who's coming to terms, struggling with his sexuality. He just wants a man to talk to. All right? This is how them dudes flirt. He doesn't have an argument. He just likes going back and forth with a man. That's why he said his tablet was on his stomach. This nigga ain't got no clothes on. He's laying in bed with no clothes on and some lotion. This is a punk, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm dead serious. This is what they do. Punks, this is how they flirt with dudes. They just try to get into weird, nonsensical arguments with dudes that don't make no sense. What was the word he said? What was that word he kept saying? There's no rhyme or reason. He's just trying to argue as a way to flirt. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what intrafy means, Tyreek, with that white stuff on your hairline. Clock that T, Tyreek, if a clause. Just saying shit. You can't read nobody. I done saw your 5013. I done saw it, Tyreek. He just saying shit. Just a sassy punk. All right? Bussy all wide. He's mad. He wants some damn attention from a man. That's what that is when a dude is that sassy and mad. What they really want to say is, how come you don't like Bussy? You see all this Bussy sitting up here? You don't want it? That's what he's trying to say. That's what he's trying to say. He's mad. I don't go that way. Yeah? He's a sassy tether punk. You don't know what inthrify means. He wants somebody to inthrify his pussy. That's what he keeps he keeps whining about this one word that nobody cares about. I don't give a shit about whatever that word is. What dude calls up whining to another man about the definition of a random word? What dude gets mad at a... You don't know what inthrify is, okay? See, if you knew what inthrify was, you would keep it real, Tyreek. Just sassy as he damn want to be. You want somebody to entry your Bucci cat.
I want you to understand, overstand, and understand what I'm saying right now. I want you to
a whole generation of sassy punks, and I blame the internet.
What I'm saying.
The internet has enabled a sassy punk
We're going to start getting some work done.
Level of dudes out here.
Please
Back in the day, we didn't have the internet. In order to interact with people, you had to go outside. You had to interact with people. You had to be able to stand on business. You had to have integrity. You couldn't be no punk ass dude out here just saying weird shit. You get jumped on. You dig? You get rolled up out here in these streets talking dumb.
Yeah, you only gonna find those guys on TikTok. I'm telling you. You're not gonna find those guys on YouTube. Yo, TikTok is another animal. Damn, I wish I'd have hopped on here earlier when people told me. I did not know I mean, it is annoying though, because you see the guy called me earlier, the Pan-African guy. I'm trying to ask some questions, and family, always never let them say black. Oh, no, they were calling us black. Well, first of all, if you're saying they was calling us black, you already messed up. Because just because somebody call us something doesn't mean we're that, my guy. You're only what you call yourself, right? That part is he's missing. Just because somebody call you something don't make you that, my guy. We were called the worst names possible by white people, and we're not that. I am a somebody. You dig? And I'm not what white people call me. I'm what my ancestors called me. And they called me black. Okay? But even with that, the word black was not around the 1600s like that. It was Negro. Oh, it means black. But what's the word they were using? Okay? Like, do we say lion nowadays, or do we just say, hold on, let me give you out a definition of lion? Because now we don't just say the word no more. We just say what the word means. I mean, like, this is a bad faith. You dig? Like, let's no longer say a lion. Hey, man, you know the king of the jungle is a large, tawny colored cat that lives in prides. It's found in Africa, you know, and northwestern India. The male has a flowing, shaggy mane and takes little part in hunting, which is done by the females of the pride. Yeah, that thing. Like, what? So we just can't say lion. We gotta say the definition. So family, these guys are so they don't want to say the word anymore. They want to say what it means to align themselves with it. No. That's not how they use. That's not how they applied Negro on us. They apply their definition application on us. And it was very mean. It wasn't nice and neutral like a color, okay? The color black. It was mean and terrible. Okay, we called ourselves black. It's not what the word means. It's how did they use it? Like, we say no cap. What's the definition? Or does it matter how we're using it? Okay. So with that, family, I'm gonna check out. Hope y'all enjoyed the show. The sister seems educated. I'm being appreciated on TikTok. You guys appreciate me. Other folks, I'm being shadow banned, but the other folks who was here, they were here for the wrong reasons. I don't care about none of that. I'm even delineated against toxic FBA. So I only want people who are genuine and have our best interests in mind, who represents black excellence, like that sister K. Okay, I want folks like that around me. I need that glow energy. You dig? I don't want that toxic energy. I don't hang around toxic people in real life. Get away from me. Relatives, friends, whoever. You toxic, you got to go. Got to go. So make sure you like, Subscribe if you're new. You can donate $ unbiased Ron at the bottom. And I will see you for the next one. I don't know, maybe tomorrow. But I love going live on both TikTok and here. But you see why it's important to say sometimes the same thing over? Because different people are here for the first time when you're live. Okay? All right. All right, family. Be one. Be great.